Hello there. Hello there. Welcome to Press X to Continue for February 2025. And we're recording in March, but this is still our February episode. Just how it is.
We're just good about that.
Yeah. How's it going, Jason?
It's going great. And you know what? Pushing it into March gives us two great shows to talk about, the presentations and everything. So I'm okay with a March date. I don't
Where
care.
it's a retrospective looking back on February.
There you go.
And there may be one or two March stories in here. We'll see. But that's all right.
Yeah.
How you doing, Robbie?
Doing great.
Good, good. There has been a lot going on, as we'll talk about. The focus we're going to dive into for the big topic is Pokemon. We just said the Pokemon event presents. It's like the 55th anniversary of Pokemon or something crazy.
And it's a subject that all three of us are pretty mired in. So yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be the focus. But with a lot of stuff going on, PlayStation State of Play, we're going to dive into. First off, WB Studios is kind of in disarray. They shut down a lot of studios, including the people that made the Shadow of Mordor games.
That makes me want to cry.
They really did those games a disservice by not doing a third, and the whole Nemesis system being siphoned off to only those developers and all that stuff. But yeah, the Wonder Woman game got canceled,
which was supposed to have the Nemesis system again. They were going to put it to use again.
I love that.
You love that. That was a great system. Robbie, did you play the Middle Earth games?
Was great.
Oh, do you like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Okay, have you watched Rings of Power?
Season 1.
Season 1 had so many scenes that straight up felt like they were lifted out of the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games. The gameplay is phenomenal. There's a good story being told there. It was a great studio. For them to get shuttered is just wild. But here's the thing. Do y'all think they got shuttered because of the video game side of the house, or it is still WB who does movies, and especially DC, because that's what the studio is working on right now?
I think their video game efforts were not great. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy was a huge hit, and that studio is secure, obviously, and they're making the next game in the series. But Rocksteady, they kind of like put them on a weird direction, going after live service. They've had successes with the Lego games. Like the Star Wars Skywalker saga was them. But yeah, they've had some weird misses and spent a lot of money on wasted efforts. So I think, bad management is what it turns into with us.
It's sad to see another studio shuttered, but I'll be honest, Wonder Woman also wasn't really... While I wanted the Nemesis system to come back, I'm not a Wonder Woman fan. It wasn't tickling my pickle, if you know what I mean, or as my daughter says.
Yeah, they probably announced that game or thought of that game when the first movie was such a hit, and then 1984 happened. It's like this is not as high out of an IP as we once thought it was.
I'm gonna go against the grain, and while we deviate real quick, I didn't think the first Wonder Woman was that great. I actually didn't think it was. I didn't think it was the female power movie that everybody wanted it to be, and I think the whole female power dynamic is undermined by it all being a love interest with Chris Pine at the end of the movie. It undermined the entire story, but that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing. But yeah, definitely a thing. Sad. I'm not sure if I have much more to say about that, but
I'm just looking at some screenshots from this game. This game seems pretty cool.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Lord of the Rings games.
Here's the thing: you're talking about the Shadow of Middle Earth games. Yeah. The Nemesis system. What's great about it is like you'll fight an orc, and orcs get randomly generated names and traits, and they'll be like, Garnash the Bloody, and he'll have blood dripping down from him, and when he hits you, it makes you bleed. And if he kills you, he gets leveled up in the demon or in the orc army, and he gets more powerful, and he's going to be harder the next time you fight him, because it's kind of a roguelite. Death is a mechanic in those games. So, you do die over and over and over. But it is so cinematic and so awesome with the combat. And again, that Nemesis system is phenomenal.
I own them both. I've not really played them. I'm not sure if I purchased them both or if they were PS Plus games or I'm not sure. But I
Tim,
do own them.
because you like story and lore, right? I mean,
Oh
'cause
yeah.
those are because again, like you're finding like pottery fragments throughout Mordor that when
Yeah.
you examine them, you get like snippets of memories of people that were living in Mordor and everything. There is so much lore in those games.
Did you like the first one or second one better?
They are fundamentally different because of the war army command that comes into the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is way more. It almost becomes battlefield simulation for things at times. So they're fundamentally different.
Okay.
But because of that, I actually think I liked the first one more. It was fresher. The second one was still good, but the first one is fresher and a more streamlined experience, in my opinion.
Is it a connected story? Like, is it standalone games, you think?
Okay, I have played the second one once, but I've played the first one 3 times. I do not remember what the story for the second one is.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, all good.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Highly recommend them. Studio may be shuttered, but the games are good.
And then Nintendo had some news, some disappointing news, as they want to keep even more of their own money. Well, first off, they're getting rid of the voucher system, at least at launch, won't be there for Switch 2, which I love the voucher system. And this is a system that's been in and out. It was there kind of at the Wii U era and the launch of the Switch, I believe. Then it was shut down for a period of time in North America and made a glorious return a year ago or so. And this is a system where for $100 you get 2 vouchers, and you can redeem those for mainly Nintendo games. $60 games as they are now, and you basically save $20, $10 per game. And I just redeemed a voucher just last week for Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is coming out for Switch. I'm very excited to have all of the Xenoblade Chronicles games on my Switch.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, and X all on Switch. It's gonna be quite a time. But that's going away for Switch 2, and maybe they'll bring that back one day. I don't know. I'm not sure if Switch 2 games will be $60 or $70. They could be $70. We'll see. And then the other thing going on is gold points are being discontinued. This was the very awesome thing of as you buy things, either physical on cartridge or digitally, you would get these gold points. And in the eShop, you could redeem them for actual money. So I would get like random $5 off or $10 off if I saved up more, free little games every now and then from gold points. 100 points is equal to $1, I believe. So
yep.
You'd get 300 gold points for a $60 purchase, if my math is correct. So is that 5% back? I'm not sure. That sounds right.
Yeah.
So over time you'd amass these, and it was quite handy. And you could redeem gold points within 12 months of the original release date of a physical game. So if you bought a game within the first calendar year of release, you could redeem those on your Switch to get those gold points back, which is cool. Anyways, feelings on these, Jason? Do you want to start?
Actually, sure, but I'm going to do a bit of a camera pan because it's going to matter. For gold points, you guys see all the red on the shelf up there and up there?
Yeah, you're a physical collector, yeah.
And I don't, that's for vouchers too. One, vouchers did me no good because, as you see, I'm a physical collector. 2, I'm a physical collector with a very big problem that I collect games and wait forever to play them. So out of that entire row, there might be 10 games that I got gold coins for.
Because you buy them and not even open them for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we discovered that when I found my unopened Shin Megami Tensei 5 Steelbook.
Yeah, yeah. Because there are definitely a lot of digital only games that the gold points would have been useful for you to get a couple of those eShop exclusive games. But
excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, no. You're right. And actually, anytime I had gold coins, I would use them for completely digital purchases.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, completely digital games. Obviously,
Right,
digital,
right.
it's just- yeah.
Like Fast RMX Racing or something.
Actually, no. More like I have Hand of Fate or the digital Pokemon games. Some of those that I'm willing to download.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But Rob,
So,
you never really did.
Jason,
either.
I'm hearing my voice now back. I think it's fixed now. Okay. Something went. Oh, you muted yourself, so I'm not sure if it. Okay, it's fixed. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
I've never used vouchers before, but I use gold coins are just nice. Every now and then I've got some saved up, and I'm gonna buy a purchase, and it's just a nice little. It just tickles my brain a little bit to like save like $5 to $10. I feel pretty good.
It's
So
always a
I'm
surprise
sad
to
to
see them
see-
sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of forget about them. I'm honestly like my Switch purchases are slowing as the games that are coming out. Like I'm trying to think like what even would I use my very very few remaining gold coins for other than the new Pokemon. And then
Obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles X, right?
here's the thing: is
This
I have
massive
3,
100-hour
and
game. Yeah.
I never finished 2. I would really like to play 3. I hear 3 is maybe would jive with me better. I don't know if I should buy another one before
X is a completely standalone title.
Well, they all are, aren't
and
they? I know
it-
you like
no,
1
no,
through
no,
3,
no. They have the auspice of being standalone titles. You wouldn't know 1 and 2 are connected until later on, and you wouldn't really know 3 is connected. And yeah, but by the end of 3, you'll realize how connected they all are.
I don't
Except
know if
for
I can
X.
promise I'm going to play all 3 of those games.
Well, so except for X,
Well,
X
they
is
may as well
completely
be
standalone. And X came after 1, chronologically speaking. 2 was a Switch launch game. X came out on Wii U. So really, X is the second game in the series, if you want to look at it that way.
The thing is like it would be so far back at this point. Like did I share? Maybe what we should do next time is share.
Our backlogs?
I would like to compare. I don't know if I'm the only one here who uses a downtime management app.
Not at all. I just...
I
yeah.
don't understand. Like you actually use an
Like
app?
I have an app where I like put books, TV shows, movies, and games that I would like
Oh,
to engage
yeah.
with.
No, I
Yeah, I don't do
haven't-
that at all.
I have
No.
different apps for different things that I track. So no, I have nothing all in one spot.
But yeah,
At
I
one
definitely have a
point, I should,
backlog.
send you some
share.
screenshots of my backlog, and then y'all should help me figure out what's
What-
worth-
what
'cause
order
there's
of
a lot
priority,
of there's a
yeah.
lot of 100+ hour games in my backlog, and like, come on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, to be a kid with the time to play the games, but not the
Right.
money to buy them, and now I'm an adult with the money to buy them and not the time to play them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Yeah.
maybe my kid is gonna want to like do this with me, and then he's already like into the watching Astrobot and Luigi's Mansion and all that stuff. He's actually kind of vaguely expressed interest in playing some Pokemon. Like we've been like watching Let's Go Eevee, and I'm like, we could play it, and he's like, it's fine. But then he makes me like read him everything, and I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah. I'm lucky that, my kids both grew up to be gamers. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter is constantly telling me that she's already earmarking that she wants my video game collection when I die.
Oh, that's delightful. I mean, at least it'll go to a good home.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, it's just super bummed that Nintendo's getting rid of this as Switch 2's coming out. It's like, okay, so we're not going to get...
Okay.
It's like,
wait,
are you going to replace this with something? Or
No,
we're
I'd like to
just,
wait a minute. Let's get a little bit more background. The game vouchers came out when the Wii U was failing.
No, gold points is what I'm talking about.
Oh, the gold points.
Vouchers, they go in and out. They'll probably be back at some point. But the gold points is like, especially a bummer.
Well, before gold points on the Wii U, you had that the money back on your.
It was even better if you bought if you bought
10%.
the digital deluxe edition of the Wii U. It was $50 more in black. Yep, you had 10% cash. Was it 10% cash back? What was it?
Yeah, it was 10%. It's not cash back, but 10% credit back on the Wii U eShop.
It was wild.
Yeah,
And I bought so much digitally of the Wii U because of that.
Oh, it's hard. And you could go to Best Buy and get your, get the $50 gift card on sale for $40. So, oh man, you could rack so much stuff with that. But again, these programs,
so you're saying the goal points were 5%. You're saying we're getting 2.5% next time they do this?
they're going to be generous and round it up to 3.
Yeah.
But basically, I guess what I'm saying is they're gonna. This is an area that I have faith that Nintendo will do something. It won't be as good, but it is an area that they are continuing to at least attempt to check the block on their customer happiness and satisfaction. So while the gold points are going away, something will replace them.
Yep, we'll see what that is. And April is coming soon. So we'll see what they announce at that day. I'm sure a lot of unanswered questions, though, when that direct finishes.
Related to that, in the rumors right now, what is the rumored price for games on the Switch 2? Are they going to get a $10
I don't
bump?
think there is a rumored price quite yet, but I'd expect it.
You think that might be why they're getting rid of the vouchers, is the price is going to bump, and so that voucher would be stealing from them?
Could be one reason. Yeah.
Just thoughts.
Certainly possible.
Yeah. Speaking of the Switch 2, though, can you believe that Rockstar is committed to bringing GTA 6 to the Switch 2? And I say that
I think I told you guys last episode I thought that might happen.
But they're committed to it. They're doubling down. I don't know if they said they were going to have it at launch. They didn't imply otherwise that I know of. But that's just wild to have something that flagship once again actually getting to be able to launch on a Nintendo platform.
Do you think it would be an online only SKU?
I don't know if they're going to do that.
Because they have an online only SKU for Grand Theft Auto Online now for the current consoles.
Do they?
I wonder if they do. You can buy Grand Theft Auto Online for $20,
but it
just gives you access to the online.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. No, I thought you meant
game.
It was like streaming.
No. There's the campaign and there's the game.
Or
the online game.
But they didn't launch with that either, did they?
Nope, they did not.
So I fully expect that'll come later.
Grand Theft Auto Online launched in a terrible state and was not.
Oh yeah, it's not what it is now. I mean, I don't even play Grand Theft Auto, but I remember reading how much
you could not log in the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
What kinds of if they find a way to port this whole game on Switch 2, what kinds of compromises do you think it would have to make? Because like I'm the kind of person who I always say Switch is like, for me, like if I buy a game on Switch, I'm prioritizing like the portable nature of that kind of game must be very important to me.
Yes.
And I always say that I don't care what kinds of sacrifices I'm going to make until I play a game that is like truly unplayable, like Sonic Frontiers, truly unplayable on the Switch. I'm trying to think of other.
Come Deliverance.
I didn't play that, but yeah.
That does run on Switch in a bad way.
Here's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess, because, I mean, again, first of all, we still aren't even really, this is so shot in the dark because we don't know the hardware. So we're going off rumors of rumors. And the rumors of rumors is that the Switch 2 is going to be comparable to essentially PS4 Pro / in that neighborhood, maybe a little bit stronger, but portable. So, that means things, right? If that's the case, I bet you they can port the full thing and just lock it at 30 frames, 1080.
You're optimistic in thinking the PS5 will get much more than 30 frames a second.
I do forget that Rockstar puts so many background systems into their games. That's what's so great about Rockstar, even though I don't play their games. I appreciate the work they do. So you're right. I guess I am foolish that maybe they're at least going to have to lock it down to a 720. Because I'm sorry, at this point, I mean, locking it at 720, 30, almost anything would do that, even with a lot of other things going on in the background. I'd have faith that the Switch 2 could do that.
Yeah, that'd probably be the big compromise. I don't know if you have less people in the world. I don't know. I'm not sure how dense the roads will be with.
Rob, do you have a priority? Like, do you like frame rate over resolution, one or the other?
I think I'm a frame rate guy. If I don't like to have to choose. This is in the same.
That's why I get the PS5 Pro.
This is the same territory as the conversation of like me having to choose the difficulty. Like all games have like technical compromises they have to make. If I have to choose, I'm usually pretty mad. But if I do have to choose, like I usually choose performance, because the thing is like, I mean, like what mode, Tim, did you tell me to do for Final Fantasy?
There's like Rebirth? A PS5 Pro mode that
I've been doing like whatever whatever the one is you recommended to me. And I mean, I still have a little bit of pop in. There's some weird jittery stuff. Like,
there is some pop in, but it seems the best overall with frame rate and resolution.
This is maybe not even fully a related thing to say, but like I just think these games are too ambitious. Like the games that try to.
You think making 10 years make a game's too ambitious?
I don't. I mean, it depends on like what you're trying to do to put in it. Like I'll tell you. Well, speaking of Final Fantasy, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. But one thing that I do like about the graphics is like I just think that like people like I just don't think we should try to make people look real. Like that's
I seriously think. I don't know. The industry would be better if we kind of locked in at PS3, Xbox 360, and we could make the games in 3 years still. I'm playing these PS3 games still. They look damn good and hold up, and they're still fun. I don't know. It seems like there should be some high-end studios like that. I don't know. Like Naughty
modern
Dog
games are too uncanny, and the voice acting is carrying them. Whether they're PS5 graphics that are uncanny or PS3 graphics that look terrible, like they're to me, like I popped in Metal Gear Solid 1 the other day after I bought it on sale, and I was like really hooked into the intro. I was like, wow, I forgot
the voice acting so good.
How good they did this.
Okay. First of all, both of you are heretics. Both of you are heretics.
Well, we do have PS5 Pros. I mean.
Yeah, which makes no freaking sense to me that you can say these blasphemy.
But still, I said, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. As for the realistic, first of all, Detroit Become Human would like to have a talk with you, Robbie. I'm sorry, some of the character models in that. What was it? Not the Connor. What was the Marcus? I think was his name. Marcus's character model. I mean, you want to talk about Uncanny Valley? Okay, so I'm here for that kind. Not every game needs that, and not every studio does it. I'm okay with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Rebirth, whatever the next one is going to be, having a not lifelike, but still good-looking art. I mean, I remember when Final Fantasy VIII came out, that ballroom scene was fire. So we need studios like that pushing it with graphics and really showing stuff like that. So we can have PS3 level graphics.
Well, I would like us to get back to the point where 3 to 4 years is realistic development cycle versus 5 to 6.
You're correct. There are problems with the big AAA model and everything. Besides the development times, the size of teams, the overtime. I get all of that.
Because you had the whole Uncharted trilogy in the PS3 era, Resistance trilogy in the PS3. You could grow attached and love these characters in a single generation versus now it's just like one game, maybe 2 games per studio every generation.
It really varies, but you got to look at the studios doing that and how many of them use that to maintain not only quality but reputation. CD Projekt Red let themselves take a black eye with how Cyberpunk 2077 launched, but most of their games tend to launch and play, and there's just a depth to the games. Rockstar is the same way. They may start rough, but they are so ambitious and they don't stop. I mean, all of
Rockstar is like one of the rare exceptions to what I was just saying. Also, what I just said sounds like really hot takey. I think my point is like that I'll take a game like Final Fantasy where the characters have disproportionate eyes to their heads, but where they still are kind of human-ish looking, like over something where we try to like really just make them look like people, but then the face muscles move weird. Like that's all I'm trying to say. Especially if it makes the game take a million years to come out.
I understand that then. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I am excited to see GTA 6 on the Switch too.
Well, okay,
I would first play it, I think, on the PS5 Pro, and then I'd probably get the Switch 2 version as well. So that's how they sell
heists and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
But speaking of GTA though, apparently Rockstar wants to turn GTA into like its own platform.
Of course they do.
The reference I read was kind of like a Roblox type of thing, but hell, it kind of sounds like it's almost going to be a Fortnite kind of thing too, where you'll be able to create your own scenarios that you can sell out to people. I don't know about the selling; they might use in-game currency and everything, but they want to farm out the content creation and.
I pray this isn't the last Grand Theft Auto campaign we get from Rockstar, and that they don't just go to the platform approach, because that could be real appealing with how much money they make with GTA Online.
You wouldn't be happy if they did a GTA Online evergreen platform that every 12 to 18 months or even 6 to 9 months they release a new 4 to 8 hour scenario that they release.
That could be cool.
And that other people are constantly releasing their own content for too.
I mean, that could be cool, but yeah, I would miss the big sprawling campaigns. Like they're great.
100%.
Yeah. Anything else in this one?
No.
Okay. So PSVR 2 is now priced at $399. Got a $200 price drop if you got the big bundle with Horizon Call of the Mountain, or $150 if you get the standard bundle. Both of them are now priced at $399, which is bizarre to me. GameStop was trying to make sense of how to say this in a way that made sense. Like, you can get either of these at the same great price. I don't know why you would not get the bundle.
I'm actually upset that I didn't get the Call of the Mountain bundle at this point, or that I already got it because, I didn't want to buy that bundle. But Robbie, do you have PSVR 2? I really don't remember.
No, and I was going to say, like, y'all tempted me last time, and this, of course, this announcement tempts me further. But wait, hold on. I think I misread all the headlines. So is it the same price with the game as it is by itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. And doesn't it come with a physical copy of the game in there?
No, it's a code.
Oh, it's a code. Okay. Yeah,
it's very bizarre.
It's
a great game, but it's just very bizarre why I even have the standard.
I can't believe they didn't drop either the basic SKU or drop the Call of the Mountain SKU. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Sell me again on what I can do in this thing other than play 5 games.
You can play many more than 5 games first.
I can play all my games, right? But I need a wire, a really, really long USB cable, right?
Yeah, it's a long USB-C cable.
It comes with a healthy length USB-C
Like, how
cable.
long are we talking? Because my couch is fairly far from my TV.
It's pretty.
You know what?
long.
I'm not gonna shoot from the hip while we're talking. Give me a moment to Google.
It would have to be like, I'm trying to think here. It would need to be like, for me to be comfortable, like 20 feet.
I don't think it's that long, but standard USB-C extension cables do work with it.
Yeah.
PSVR.
But I can does it run apps? Is any app in the PlayStation Store? Like, could I watch a Disney Plus movie on it?
Everything that you can do flat, we'll start right there. You can do in the headset, using the headset as a giant HDR OLED
Okay, so it's like a
display.
TV, but it's just basically showing me my PlayStation interface.
Yeah,
Yes.
like before I got the Apple Vision Pro, I watched the current season of No For All Mankind in there with the Apple TV app, and that was a pretty cool thing.
The standard cord is 14.7 feet. So
That might be just long enough.
But again, get one extension and it's going to be fine because it works with
And
extension.
in some games, you may be standing up and you may just want to be in the middle of your living room with it, kind of thing.
And honestly, Rob, if you enjoy it as a musician person, I mean, there are just the musical game genre in VR is one of the best, most immersive and enjoyable genres. And there's a couple different variations of it in there. The 3 big ones being Beat Saber, the king. I'm not sure anything's going to ever dethrone Beat Saber for me.
I've done some Beat Sabering. I've played in a fair bit in a Meta. I guess the 2 is the one I've played in, and then I played in the Steam headset for quite a bit. To be honest though, neither of them felt like places I wanted to spend a lot of time in.
Each headset is comfort different.
Yeah.
I have the PSVR 1, PSVR 2, and a Quest 1 with a separate head strap that I bought for it. I can tell you that I like the weight distribution and the cinching mechanism on the PSVR 2 better, but the PSVR 1 front head pad was a lot more comfortable than the PSVR 2 front head pad. But as a whole, it's a comfortable headset. And like I said, the music games, Beat Saber, what's the one you like?
Synth Riders, which I love. Because there's the haptics on this thing are just amazing. There's haptics in the headset itself. Controllers have great haptics. And like with the Synth Riders, you can feel yourself riding the different waves and stuff. The Resident Evil games are phenomenal. Sony paid Capcom to release RE4 remake, Village, in PSVR 2, and
7, 8, and 4.
Yeah, 7, 8, 4. Well, 7's only on the original.
Oh, you're right.
PS4.
7 is only on PSVR 1.
But yeah, 8 and 4 are incredible in there. Gran Turismo, it's shocking. Just it feels like you're driving the cars. Like,
dude, Gran Turismo with a wheel is a great way to spend a Sunday in VR. It really is.
Even without a wheel, it's a cool experience. But yeah, you're literally in all these different cockpits of all these high-end cars. I hopped in the Prius, which we own one. It's like, oh, except for being a Japanese version of the car, it looks like identical to what I'm used to in here. And
bit of advice for Gran Turismo: if you spend any time actually driving, turn off a lot of its assist. You'll feel better when you're doing the driving, especially if you're trying to drive your Prius that you know how it should react.
Right, and then Tetris Connected is perhaps the most. It's like a meditation session through a Tetris session. Like it's the most soothing and just like mellow, just like, I don't know if you have other ways to describe this, Jason.
The ambiance of that game, it is just a
cathartic experience, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. I hate sounding. I mean, you sound like a hippie trying to describe.
You really do. It's hard to describe. Yeah.
But it is a peaceful just play, and it's Tetris, so it's weird that you're talking about peace and Tetris, because I don't know about you, but that gets stressful. I mean, basically, there are. It's your mileage will vary. Not to mention, Poker Stars VR. If you like poker, you can play that in VR, and it does eye tracking, so you can see who people are looking at, and if they're, you can track people blinking too much for like tells and stuff like that. Like, it's legit fun to play VR Poker Stars.
And they're about to release the entire Hitman collection in VR. And I'm very excited to see what the reviews are on that, because that could be incredible, where that's just such a massive game that the entire game is being remastered for that.
Yeah.
The Alien game was phenomenal. Played that last year. Basically, I mean, the thing with VR games to me is like, if I truly like, the bang for buck out of like, if I've got 30 minutes to an hour, like, I feel like if I'm in there, it feels like I've spent 5 hours. Like, it's like, oh, this is only 30 minutes. It's like, because it's just so intense, and just like the immersion level. Like, games it's just a different way of gaming, in a way that's much more compelling for me. I personally also find more fun in the VR games that are more interactive. There are VR games that are sit down experiences or whatever. Those aren't anywhere near as much fun for me. That's why I like the Beat Saber type game. Creed Boxing gives me a nice workout. That's a very
There are not a lot that I'm aware of good RPG, JRPG for it, though. There are a couple. I have one that I know it's going to surprise you. I haven't dug into yet. I keep trying to remember the name of it, but of course, because it's digital, I think it was Tavern in the name or something. I don't know. There are a couple, but there's just not a lot of really good RPGs in it. We're still really hoping that they're going to re-release Skyrim on it again, because they released Skyrim on PSVR 1 and it was great. And I'll take the same game on PSVR 2, please and thank you.
Yeah, and No Man's Sky is there as an incredible experience.
You can play all of so great.
It's well thought out how they did that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love flying with the controls on No Man's Sky in PSVR.
That was a game that caught my attention when I was reading what's available for it.
Do you play No Man's Sky flat?
I've played like maybe an hour of it. I'm not like anywhere into it enough to be able to.
I bought that game at launch, and I will tell you,
I did too.
That game at launch, while I liked it,
I loved it at launch.
That is not the game that it is now.
No, and there's a lot of shooters, and there's one Synapse where it has eye tracking in the headset, so you can look at enemies and like grab them like you're some kind of Jedi and throw them across the room, and it's just a power trip. Like, the eye tracking in some games is really compelling. There's even an eye tracking like interactive experience, like a movie before your eyes, where the creators of this experience are trying to make you cry the entire experience, and the goal is to not blink. And if you blink,
the whole game is controlled by blinking.
You're right.
There are some scenes they don't want you to blink on, but you don't know that, and you end up blinking and go by scenes like that, right? It's part of the narrative. Don't worry about it. But the whole game is controlled by blinking. Great game, and yes, they are.
It's cool.
They're coming for your emotions.
Yeah, the eye tracking stuff is pretty nifty, and the displays, they're really good. Like in Gran Turismo, it feels like the sun is like, if I look at the sun, it's like blinding in that way. It's got a better field of view than the Apple Vision Pro. Like the displays in some ways I like better than the Vision Pro. It's not 4K per eye, it's 2K per eye. So as long as you're not reading text, it's great. Yeah.
Speaking of eye tracking, it's a smaller game. Awesome Asteroids, as in like Asteroids from way back in the day. PSVR 2 like adaptation of that, and it has eye tracking, and like you later will get a missile that when you engage the missile, you literally look at targets, and who you look at, it locks onto, and then you can fire your missiles.
And there's Putt-Putt in there, and it's great. Walkabout Mini Golf. It's a fun, chill way to
puzzling places. I love sitting in puzzling places, put on a headphone, listen to an audiobook, and do a puzzle in VR. It is another just relaxing, cathartic experience. Talking about that downtime manager, that's why I can't manage my downtime. I'm doing 2 to 7 things at a time.
So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There's the so Behemoth is amazing, and before that they did the Walking Dead games, Chapter 1, Saints and Sinners, which are phenomenal as well.
Shooting is the biggest genre in PSVR 2, and there are some phenomenal shooters. Shooting is just the best kind of game for that. Like you said, the Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners games, Shizakov. Pavlov is a military tactical shooter that, lots of activity in that game. Crossfire Sierra Squad, I think, is another one. I mean, there are multiple basically live service shooter games in there. There's an NFL heads up manager where you're, I don't sports ball, but there are some sports games there if you're actually interested in that. Give me a Quidditch game in VR. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, there's a fair bit. The library is definitely growing, and there's good PSN sales all the time. So I don't know. That's just, there's a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. It's on. They reduced the price just for you, Robbie.
They really did. Yeah.
Just for you.
I have a feeling it'll go even heavier sale at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the holidays and back to school, there will probably be a sale. But yeah, definitely keep it on your radar.
Is there a price that it'll drop to that it's going to basically be okay, I'm getting it, another $100 off?
I mean, the thing is, if I really wanted it, it was a priority to me, I would buy it at the price it is now. But so it's a question of impulse, and impulse is more factors than just is there a price? It's what did I eat for lunch that day? When it
okay. I get that.
Well,
yeah,
we'll
and
see.
So the holiday sale last year was $350. So this is a little bit higher than the sale price last year. So I'll be curious. I'll be curious if it goes.
That sale price was abnormally low.
It was. I'll be curious if it goes to $299 for next year's sale. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how far they can drop it.
It would be a little disappointing, but I could see it just going back to the same drop price at
$350. Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
And this is pretty par for the course for PSVR. Even PSVR 1, which had a big price drop kind of halfway through its through the generation.
Yeah, so. But you know what? They never gave us an ambassador program like Nintendo did with 3DS. No.
That's true. But yeah, if you don't have PSVR 2, highly recommended, especially at $399. Much more appealing price point than what I bought it at $600. But I got a lot of use out of it in that time period, so I'm not regretful at all. It's, yeah.
Hey, speaking of PlayStation, Tim, let's move on to the next thing and talk to me. I have no idea where you got that from.
I saw a news story come across the radar. The PlayStation 3, I've got a couple of them in the house here. I got an update, an OS update, just a day ago or so. And one of the notes here is they needed to update the encryption keys on the Blu-ray drive for that to keep working. And I didn't realize that Blu-ray players would eventually just cease to work because the encryption keys are out of date. I'm
not
curious
sure.
how long Sony will need to update this thing. Like, how long will Sony keep the Blu-ray drive functional? Like, will we see an update in like 20 years or keep
You
this
know,
thing running?
The funniest thing about this is Sony owns Blu-ray.
They did invent, or part of the invention team, yeah.
Okay, so what are they doing? But like also, my Blu-ray players don't need updating, and they work.
Are you sure they don't?
Actually, I'll be honest with
And
you.
how old are the Blu-ray players? They might need to because they do connect to the internet. Most Blu-ray players, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Tim. I haven't put a disc into a machine that isn't a video game in a decade.
Yes. Yeah. I own a couple Blu-rays. I don't. Yeah, have any Blu-rays are only hooked up to my gaming monitor though, so I don't really. But anyways, I just thought it was very curious, and I'm curious if it's. I think it's probably solely for movies. I would guess. I don't think games would. I don't know, fail to work, but who knows?
What's your opinion on hacking your PS3, Tim? Like, would you do that to keep your Blu-ray drive working?
I mean, I've tried and failed to hack before.
It's simple, dude. I hacked my PS3 with a calculator. I'm not.
Well,
kidding.
I think I was using I was trying to hack the Super Slim, which was harder to hack. I think.
Seriously, TI-84 or TI-83 plus calculator. I promise you.
No, but no, but yeah, I think I tried. I tried initially with the most recent PS3, which is more preventions versus the OG model. But anyways, I just thought it's super interesting, and it's like just a reminder, like eventually these things probably won't work.
I never
for
would
all
have
the
guessed
functions. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yep.
Do you watch Blu-rays, Robbie?
I think we have the Lord of the Rings extended on our shelf in our living room, and I think that is the only Blu-ray that I have put into. We have watched them, but in the past couple of years, I'm trying to remember what we watched them on. Though I feel like the PS4 is probably what we
Probably.
It varies for me. There's a high likelihood I probably attached an external Blu-ray drive to a Mac Mini or something.
My Alien set is one of the few Blu-rays I have.
See,
I've
I
got
actually,
the whole set here.
well, just like Robbie there, I have all of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies Blu-ray extended editions, so I just don't have anything to really watch them on other than a video game system. But
Yeah,
they really just collect dust to have them. I don't watch the discs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I just thought that was an interesting thing, and we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how long the PS3 can play movies for. Like when we're 80 or 90, will we still be able to?
that was out of nowhere. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Well, while we're here sitting, keeping on the PlayStation hype train, anybody excited for March's PlayStation Plus games?
Remind me what they are, because I know they're cool. Oh, one's wild. Remind us what they are.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which to me, that's the one that's wild.
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least. I'm not gonna play it though, but
Why aren't
This
you?
game released on Halloween of last year. So November, December, January. We're like less than half a year away from this release.
And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection.
I'm so excited for that one.
wait, is that
one-
okay? Hold on. Can somebody tell me? I played the very first. What's the word we use for like when someone does a throwback? You know what I'm saying? It was from like 3 or 4 years ago. It was like a side-scrolling 4 or 6 player.
Yeah, there was
game.
an original
Shredder's
game
Revenge.
made.
That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Okay, I had a great time with that game. So there's a sequel to it?
No.
These are the original games that came out in arcades and Nintendo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a collection of, I don't even remember all the games in there.
It's got TMNT Arcade, TMNT Turtles in Time Arcade, TMNT N for Nintendo. Is that right?
I think so.
TMNT 2, the arcade game, TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project. So it's got a bunch. It's got probably like 10 to 15.
And if you
games.
like Shredder's Revenge, Shredder's Revenge is an homage to the original games that you would probably enjoy them.
I had a good time with a couple of those in the arcade at the bowling alley growing up.
Yeah.
Those were some good ones. Too bad I only have one PS5 controller. I should maybe correct
It's also
that.
for PS4, so maybe play it on the PS4.
Yeah, that's true. I only have one
And-
controller for the PS4 too.
Look, I'm trying here.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. Yeah, because you can use your DualShock 4 with your PS5 for PS4 games, but you cannot do multiplayer that way.
There you
'cause
go.
would need
Can
one of
I put the
each.
PS4 version of it on the PS5 and then
You
use
can, but you would need 2 DualShock 4s to do multiplayer.
No, you wouldn't. You would need one DualShock 4, and you could use a DualShock 5.
No, because you can't use the DualShock. You can't use the DualSense with PS4 game.
Really?
Pretty positive.
Tim, I'm 99% certain you're wrong.
Oh, that would be fascinating if you could. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll get back with that one.
How about this, Tim? I've played Overwatch PS4 on my PS5 because it ran smoother when it first came out.
Yeah, I played Elden Ring on PS4 with
and you
PS5.
used the DualSense. So
Did I though? I thought I used the.
I know I did.
DualShock.
I know
Okay.
I did.
That's good to know. Okay, cool. That's your way to do it, Robbie. There you go.
Yeah. And
Um,
also, there's still one more game just for PS4, Sonic Colors Ultimate Edition.
Oh yeah, Sonic Colors.
I-
I've never played this game. Should I be excited?
I'll
Sonic-
I have opinions on Sonic Colors actually.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
So it did. I played it when it came out on Switch again for the first time in a while. It has some really good moments, but it did not age as well as I had hoped. You should definitely still play it. It's one of the very few good 3D era Sonic games, but the responsiveness of the controls are a little jankier than I remember, and it's like fairly gimmicky. Like it's got like these different creatures that give you like power-ups inside of the levels, and sometimes the power-ups are not entirely clear right away how you're supposed to use them. Typical Sonic jank. But I will say like that and Unleashed and maybe Generations are kind of like the three, and I guess some people Frontiers. They're like the only 3D Sonic games that I've ever seen get any kind of like positive critical reception. It's always like C- tier Sonic games, but definitely if you're like me and will hang out with a C- tier Sonic game, you should definitely play Sonic Colors.
Man, Sonic, I love Sonic, especially back in the day, but anytime you try and step back and actively look at the Sonic games, the base gameplay of gotta go fast and every level is designed to not let you go fast is a real frustration. But I do enjoy the games.
Can
I
we
really
do Can we do one of these where I have a moment to tell you like my ideal perfect dream Sonic game one of these days?
Yeah, go for
it.
Oh, is it now? Is it now?
It is
Or-
now.
Oh,
Yes, go
geez.
for it.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me.
Or maybe we
Okay.
could do it next time.
Are you going to bring up
Yeah,
like
think about it.
notes? You got notes on this? For
I
us?
mean, I do actually have probably some places that I've taken some notes. So, like, here's the thing: when in the '90s there was like these Archie comic book. There was like an Archie comic book series, and I never ended up following it through its completion because this thing went on for like ages and ages and ages. There was just like a lot of really interesting lore that the comics borrowed from the Saturday morning cartoon, which I always thought that the cast from that was interesting. I kind of was always sad that those characters only ever existed in the comic books growing up. But I thought the world building was much more interesting in the comic book and in the Saturday morning cartoon, and then therefore in the comic book. And I thought like if you were gonna like make a Sonic game feel bigger and expansive, you would want to use that kind of those characters and that kind of world building for your story to kind of flesh it out a little bit. But instead, Sonic just like changes who the characters are and how everything is in the story every time there's a major new Sonic game. So whatever. But I think they should like lean into those kinds of stories and characters and worlds. And then I don't think that Sonic Frontiers is far off from what more open and expansive Sonic game should play like. But what I do think is that I would love to see them have you all played Sonic Frontiers?
A bit of it.
So it's just like really big. There's like 4 really big levels, and there's lots of like rails you can like slide around and jump on, and they're like little they're obstacle courses.
I have
But
it
then
on the
there's-
Switch.
Oh, it's real bad. on
It
the
is
Switch.
real bad on the Switch.
I
and then it
rebought
came
it.
out on it's on PS5's game catalog and streaming on the portal and all that.
Okay, I rebought it for PS4 after like a week of trying to play it on Switch. Ooh, it was so rough. So, but what I would love to see is if they take a game that plays like that. But the whole game is just like they're trying to do like I think Zelda Breath of the Wild. So everything just feels sort of like melancholy and like it's just kind of like dark a little bit, like fantasy. And like I would love them to create a big giant expansive world that has the vibrant colors of like the Sonic 2, Sonic 3 era games on the Genesis. Like put all the really, really awesome color and texture into the actual world. Don't have it be what Sonic Frontiers is, where you like go to these areas of the map and then you like get like blooped into a zone, and then it's like a fast speed level, and then you play for like 1 minute, and then you get like blooped back out to the main world where there's like no life or anything. Like to me, like Green Hill Zone should be like in the map. It should be a place you can go. You should be able to run really, really far and then end up in the ice cap zone or in a volcano or something. Like they should just put all the variety of all the Sonic, and then they should try to do it. This would be a very big technical feat. This is why it's Dream Sonic game. They should try to do it like that Mario game for the Switch that was packaged with Bowser's Fury. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yep. I hope that this is the prototype for whatever is coming out on with the Switch 2, because the way that they made the world, the map, seamlessly bleed into the like levels with all the like, you know what I'm saying? How like you're like riding around. What's the cute animal's name that you ride in the ocean?
Plessy.
Thank you.
Oh, Plessy.
You're riding, and then you get off on the like shore of a beach, and then you walk onto like a green pasture. Then all of a sudden on the screen it says like level 2-1, collect 5 cat medallions or whatever they're called, and then it becomes more of an obstacle course. But there's no distinction between, you don't like find an area on the big map and then like go into a zone. It's all one big connected thing. So that's Dream Sonic game for you right there.
So Dream Sonic for you is basically pretty much open world Sonic, but like with the world to have courses throughout it that you can use or use pieces of, kind of.
And it could have, so would want story, but I would want the story to feel like coherent and connected to itself, not like just characters talking to each other.
Open world Sonic, throw in a dash of Tony Hawk and a dash of oh shiza. I had a thought and it's gone. But yeah, so that's your dream game.
Because going open world works for Sonic because you can go fast. And having like obstacle stuff, like rails you can hop from one to the other, and like little circles you can like jump through that make you zoom really fast. Like this is all good stuff. It's just like such a like poorly designed game in terms of like visual appeal. It's like lifeless. Frontiers, that is. And so if they could like put some of that, you know, variety from those Genesis era games into that kind of a, you know, size, I don't know. I'd be curious to see where it goes. I hope they don't like completely change the formula again in 3 or 4 years. I hope they just like iterate.
Sonic is so weird because like you go fast, but also I want to collect things in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Which is such a weird dichotomy between.
Look, here's all I need for my next Sonic game, and I know it's never going to happen. I need another Knuckles like lock-on attachment. I thought that was the coolest thing.
That was mind blowing as a kid.
Yeah. And the fact that you could put the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 games onto it and it, you know, Game Genied into there, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I need that for my collection. I need a Knuckles cartridge so that I can build that up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on a second. Actually, I don't have an impressive setup like you, but
do we have the cartridge handy? Oh, there it is.
There it is. There, see it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I am so jealous.
That was such an iconic thing.
It was. Oh,
Popping
I need
Sonic
that.
3
I
in
need
there.
that.
That's
Man,
one of the few things I do have.
you have a Genesis to play it on handy.
I do. Well, not like hooked up right now, but not far from here.
But it's in the house.
Yeah.
I very much regret not buying that thing that the Analog people made a couple years back. That like
Discontinued
HDMI
at this point.
Yeah, like why would they not make more of those? I don't understand what the issue is.
I think something about them. They get licenses for a very limited run of something, and they just kind of like limited run games. They get they make their money off of a very efficient set number of the product, and then they move on.
I'm waiting on updates on my analog N64 pre-order. The controller got delayed to an unknown release date.
It looks so pretty. It looks so pretty.
But it's we're quickly escaping Q1 2025 when they expected to ship. So we'll see when that thing ships. I'm curious. Yeah. I have a near complete collection of N64 games that I'm eager to try out.
Do you really?
I do.
Wow, I didn't know you had that many N64 games.
Well, there aren't that many N64 games in totality. There's let me see the number. How many N64 games are there? There are 388 games in total.
Yeah, and you have a near complete
92 of them are exclusive to Japan or PAL region, so around 300. So 296 were released in North America.
And you have nearly all of them?
I have probably 200.
Hey, Tim, we need to talk offline. No.
Yeah. Because back back when a decade ago when I just got back in the gaming, it's like, what can I collect? Let's go after N64. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. Offhand, I'm mentioning a title. I need to know if you have it.
Oh, okay.
Ogre Battle 64, Persons of Lordly Caliber.
Oh, I need to look. I don't.
Yeah, I need you to look for me. We'll talk.
Okay. Is that a rare game at this point?
I don't know how rare it is, but I absolutely love the Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre franchises, and essentially I just want to get my hands on that game.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I have it for the what system is that? I got Tactics Ogre for PlayStation. I have it for Game Boy Advance. I like the franchise.
No, I get it. Yeah,
I played the heck out of that game when I was younger. I loved it. I really did. Anyways,
so let's move on. Last kind of story: Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. It got announced. I believe it'll be $50 or $70 for the digital deluxe edition, and you get and this is a ground up remaster in 4K. There's going to be a new location, at least one, that's been announced. The digital deluxe, you get the game a little early, but you also get Doomslayer and the Revenant, which were in the original games, but they were just included. They weren't $20 extra in the original games, but now they're extra.
Hashtag capitalism.
But thankfully Microsoft owns Activision, so they were actually able to include these without any licensing fret.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't one of the things that has held up any kind of remake on these games because of the soundtrack
music?
So yeah, are they replacing songs on these remakes?
There is new music. I'm not sure if the original music is also there. I'm not sure on that.
Man,
but it looks great. It's coming out July 11th, I believe, and I'm excited for these.
I feel like
I revisited the 1 and 2. And I discovered I'm terrible at these games, but I still have fun with them.
Yeah, that's how I feel about them, too. I did 1 and 2 over COVID because they released those, right?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing. That was one of my kind of early COVID lock-in addictions. It was being real bad at Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
No, I'm terrible at it, but it's fun. I mean, I had fun with them. It's coming out the Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox One is getting a release of this. Xbox Series X and S, and Battle.net, and Windows PC, and Steam.
Basically it's coming to... Oh, I forgot, because it's Activision. Yeah, I forgot.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes.
I was about to say,
and it's going to be on Game Pass, of course.
Hell.
Yeah, but should be good. Nice summer game.
We know I don't really listen to music, but for me, I bet you it would feel weird playing. I mean, there are people who have hundreds of hours in these games, so they're used to the way it sounds, and to now play it and have it would be like watching a Disney movie and getting a new soundtrack after the 100th time you watch it.
Sure.
Well, this is not to bring it back to Sonic at all times, but this is when they finally released Sonic 3 on the Switch as part of that collection a few years back. They changed quite a bit of the music in Sonic 3 because of all the rights issues with it.
Where the rights were tied up, right?
Yeah, it's like Michael Jackson's estate. He's got some kind of It's still very unclear exactly what his involvement in is, but there is involvement.
He recorded multiple songs, but he didn't do it with his Michael Jackson voice. Like he did some rap hood type of things.
In Sonic 3?
Yeah.
Whoa, I did not know this.
That's just it. He didn't the Michael Jackson that was an affectation. He had a much lower registered normal voice that he spoke in too. But that was just not who he was. And so that's why it wasn't known his involvement for so long, because he's uncredited. He just loved the games, wanted to make some music for it, and did.
It's cool. It's cool.
A couple of the zones early in the game that they replaced the music for, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, this is not the game to me.
That's what I'm saying.
I emulated on the Steam Deck now, and I'm much happier.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how
problem solved.
Yeah, hopefully the music is there. But yeah.
For those that enjoy it, I mean, if nothing else, you can just do what I do and mute the sound anyways.
Oh.
I'm sorry, does Tony Hawk have audio cues in it? Like, or is the music just playing?
I forget. I mean, you're hearing the grinding.
You know, the only the last, because like I said, I've told you guys, I'm not a big Tony Hawk player, but the last skating game I really got into, so to speak, as an actual like home console game was, I don't remember if it was called, there were two. One was Skate or Die, and the other one was like 720 Skateboarding. They were both Nintendo games. Those were my skate games. And that was the beginning and end of my playing.
I remember some good snowboarding games on Nintendo systems back in the day.
Yeah, especially GameCube. GameCube had was those ones the one that had those
cool boarding kids.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times. Anyways, excited for that though. That should be rad.
Indeed.
Next, let's dive into the state of play. This was in when was this? February?
It was beginning of February. I don't remember when, but early February.
But I was overall very impressed. I was a lot of stuff in there that's like ooh, and then ending the show, I was like had my hands in the air when I was like slowly realizing what it was. I was like cheering, and I would have been yelling, but my daughter was sleeping right next to me, so I didn't yell. Let's dive into what was in here. Jason, you were probably the least enthused, I would say, of the three of us.
I was the least enthused, but the more I think on it, I was the least enthused, but that's just because everybody has their own tastes. I saw the games that were presented. I feel like we're going through a lot of samey looking games, period. And because of that, a lot of what they showed just didn't really stand out and look anything too special for me. And even like there were two big games that stood out for me: Splitgate and Dynasty Warriors Abyss. Splitgate just looks like a good take on a arena or hero shooter type of game.
Yeah, like Portal, the shooter.
And there's a small part of me that I want to get into that game, and I'm going to hold out this much hope it comes to VR because I want a shooter like that in VR. But
that'd be wild.
Yeah. And then Dynasty Warriors Abyss. First of all, I'm a huge war.
Is that out yet? Abyss?
Yes, it came out the same day.
Yeah.
Came out the same day. I am a huge Dynasty Warriors fan, and this is a roguelike. So I've been traveling a lot. I'm going to be traveling a lot. So I'm probably going to wait until I travel to pick that up. But that is definitely like that one title alone did make me go, hey, there is definitely something in this I am interested in before. But other than that, it just there was stuff like I'm glad we got a Borderlands 4 release date and everything. You know, I'm happy for you that there are extra Astrobot levels, but I didn't play Astrobot 2.
Oh my gosh,
there's
can't believe this.
Because of stuff like that, or like there's a Liza P DLC.
Hell yes, there is.
I'm interested in Liza P, but I haven't played the original yet. So it wasn't.
Yeah, this. Right.
It just wasn't my show.
Sure. I get that. Yeah. Now, Liza P, it's an interesting one because it's called Liza P Overture. It's actually a prequel to Liza P. I'm very curious if anything I've done in the original game will carry through, or it'll be starting fresh. Will this be more enjoyable if you haven't played the base game, then you go into base game from that? Or will there be some context from the base game that you should know going into the DLC? So I'll be very curious in the summer when that
Is
launches.
it standalone?
That's a good
No, you
question.
need the base game to purchase it.
Can you tell me, Liza P, like, is Liza P basically just like they straight up copied Dark Souls? Like, it's as
They
Dark Soulsy.
Yeah,
Pinocchio.
they straight up
And that's-
copied
and-
it. And it's a
and that's
world
why
of
it's-
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why it's good, right? Is because they like
Yeah, that's
didn't
why it's
try to
good.
change
Well,
the
it's also
formula too
good
much.
because it's also good because the story's great, and it's like a lot of the things that might piss you off about how FromSoft does stuff. They they made it a tad more player friendly in like good ways.
like in
but,
the
like, it
sense
is the
that
most
you know where to go
FromSofty.
next, and there's a story.
Yeah, and it's the most
Okay.
FromSofty of all these. Yeah, it felt like just
And,
perfect.
but
And one of the
also-
cool things, Robbie, you can there's like a hilt and a blade to different weapons, right? And you can mix and match those and transform weapons to do different attacks and stuff. And there's a cool system and play there for doing your build and getting the weapon just right for you.
I think I need to get this game higher on my
do.
priority list.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's on not on my list, but it's just like kind of low on there. But I definitely am intrigued.
How many hours, approximately?
I could check.
Yeah.
Let me open up my PS app. Yeah, I platinumed it. It was a fun, I think, week it took me to get the platinum in this thing.
I've still platinumed so few games that it's just not something I go out of my way to do.
I definitely do in FromSofty games. That's like a thing for me.
Yeah, I have. I don't have brain damage. That just sounds like you like to abuse yourself.
FromSoft platinums actually are not that terrible, I say.
While
But-
he's looking for that, what were your thoughts on the show there, Robbie? What stood out to you? What was your overall? Come on.
Well, I am gonna play Metal Gear Solid 3. I I enjoyed Sonic Racing. I don't buy Sonic Racing games when they're like free or cheap. I'll occasionally play one. I'm always refreshed. I think Mario Kart is kind of like feels a little stale to me these days. So I'm always refreshed when I like plug one of these games in and I'm like, oh, this is kind of different, and you can do different things with a toony character racing game. So it looked like it had some kind of fun gimmicks that I would enjoy. It's certainly not like the kind of thing I'm like jumping out of my seat for. I'm
Right,
excited for. Yeah.
I think I heard, and I think it was NBC I heard talking about it, and the video alone was okay, but then they were talking about it, and it actually got me more interested in it. I mean, because the Sonic racing games, they at least kind of like the Banjo-Kazooie racing games, they tried to have fun and put things in there to be standoutish, So I'd be interested in trying it, but I'll probably wait for a sale.
That's kind of where I'm at with it too. And then I was excited for future me and my wife, who's way further into Dave the Diver and has done all of the DLCs. They've got a new DLC.
Yeah.
That's,
My younger daughter plays that, so
Yeah, it's
the
really quite
racing
fun.
game, I think, will be rad. Like Sonic, the
Sonic
Wii U
Racing.
game, I loved, and I can't wait.
that
for
was
this.
Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing transformed, right?
Yeah, I think so. But
Right.
yeah, I think this will be it's bold of them to release in the same year as Mario Kart 9. I'll tell.
Same
you what.
year, same window, probably. It seems like.
Probably.
I will recommend Dave the Diver to you both if you have not played it. I
I've
think
not.
What is the
Yeah.
gameplay loop of Dave the Diver?
Okay, so first of all, it's an A/B loop, which, if you're familiar with any kind of like social sim / like battling or dungeon crawling like RPGs, to me, it's like similarly satisfying, but it's not at all the same kind of game. You're basically like the A part of the loop is you're diving underwater to get resources, and your tank is limited, so you're sort of like over the course of the game upgrading your ability to stay down underwater longer to go deeper. By like upgrading your tank and like getting better weapons, and you're basically like fishing underwater, but also collecting other resources. And then the B part of the loop is you go to the surface and then you run a sushi restaurant, and it's like fast paced like restaurant management. You're like,
wait a minute. Is it like Overcooked? Because I hated Overcooked.
It has a little bit of an overcooked feeling to it. Like you're pouring tea really fast and like having to serve people as quickly as you can. It's not as like you don't like create a system and a flow for like how you do things. You more like respond to the needs of your customers. But it definitely has that little slight bit of like anxiety food kind of gameplay happening. But it's really very charming. And so, my wife has played through. I think there was a Godzilla DLC, there was a Dredge DLC. I think there might have been another DLC.
It did get really popular, and there's been a trend in a bunch of indie games to do cross DLCs lately. Because there was also a DLC for it with the card game Balatro, wasn't there? Isn't there a Dave the Diver Balatro?
I think so.
Was there? I don't know about that one.
I think.
I thought I heard something like that.
Like, I think one of the suits you can turn on to be Dave the Diver themed.
I've played maybe like 10 hours of it. It's pretty fun. The new DLC announced is oh gosh, what's the like really
Hawaii,
like the very
Yakuza.
Yes, thank you, Yakuza. Yeah, that's the new crossover.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just wild. Especially because the Yakuza franchise is such a wild franchise.
I've never touched them. I'm sure at some point I'll dive into
I played
them.
Zero long enough to unlock the arcade where you can like go in and play a bunch of, and that's like really all I wanted to do. It's such a wild, fun game.
Yeah.
It's like the most Sega a game can be.
Yeah, at some point I will get lost in those games like I have Grand Theft Auto, but
it is also a game you can never skip a cutscene ever, because you're going to go into a cutscene where you're about to fight somebody, like you think knives or blades are going to be drawn, and you're going to come out of that cutscene and you and the other person are sitting in a go-kart. And it's just like, what happened here?
I mean, I never skip cutscenes. It seems like a barbaric thing to do. Liza P is anywhere from 24 to 52 hours, depending on how much you want to complete it.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. David Iverson. Okay, so Tim, you seem blown away by this. Why don't you talk to us about what
Saros was my game I was flipping out about because one of my favorite games this generation, perhaps my favorite, if I have to think about it, is probably Returnal by Housemarque Studios.
Mm-hmm.
They were not owned by Sony at the time, but now are a Sony first-party studio. They made Resogun and a bunch of other arcadey types of games. So they've grown up and become, are making the big boy games with Returnal and all that. But with Returnal, the gameplay was challenging, but so damn rewarding. They made the best use of the DualSense and 3D audio of any other developer on the system, rivaling even Astrobot with like the DualSense. You could feel raindrops with the controller. They were doing the trigger stuff where you have a full click for something else, and they just did everything you could with the PS5 as far as in 3D audio. You could hear. You need the audio, Jason, in this game, because you could hear where your enemies are coming from. There's like, there's a guy back to my back right or left, and you'd hear them without needing to see them. Like a wild, like as far as just how well everything was executed.
And this is what game?
Returnal.
Returnal, right? Okay.
So that was their first game on PS5, and the beautiful art style, beautiful HDR and all that. Just insanely good looking, and 60 frames and all that good stuff. So, and this was a roguelike, and there were some things that could be improved, and I think based on their framing of Saros, they've mentioned you're going to carry more things from Run the Run, which is something a lot of people complain about. So I think
spiritual successor to their own game?
Yeah, this Saros is basically a spiritual successor to Returnal. It'll, I think, have a similar loop, but they're going to learn a lot from Returnal, from their feedback, and I can't wait for this game, because like this Returnal was one of my favorite games this generation, past many years, and for them to learn and do even better, it just gets me so excited. Like I can't freaking wait.
I like to see a company iterate when they do it well, anyways.
And it's cool to see we're getting 2 games from them this generation, which is a rarity among Sony studios. So, yeah,
Some studios, it's rare to get a game right now.
it really is. Yeah, some studios will be missing out the entire generations because of the live service mishap. And I'm also thrilled they did not get dragged into the live service mishap. They could do they didn't screw the pooch on that. So I was so freaking excited. And I was like, as the reveal, it's like I could see in the eyeball the style of the firing from Returnal. It's like, oh, this is House Market. It's like, who would PlayStation Studios is this? It's like, oh, that's
So I kind of want to jump for you to talk about your next game because it's funny. I want to make a comment that I know I talked about all the games looking samey.
Yes.
The next game you're going to mention does not look samey. I will give it that credit, but damn if it did not look just uninteresting to me. I like, and
do you not love octopuses, Jason?
I love octopi. I love octopi.
Yeah.
But that having been said, the game just I don't know. I played Echo the Dolphin back on Sega and Sega CD.
This is so different, Jason.
I understand that, but I'm not. That's about the extent of I didn't play Blue Ocean, the Nintendo game. I'm not an underwater gamer type of thing, and it looked like it had a bit of the Deadliest Catch kind of just funkiness to controlling him around there.
So, Darwin's Paradox will be free for me on my PlayStation catalog thing, I believe. Pretty sure this launches into the Plus collection. If you have
then it'll be free
Plus,
for me too.
Yeah, if you have Plus or the higher end one. And it looks like you're basically an octopus trying to escape this this factory or something. Maybe they're catching octopus to kill them and eat them. I'm not sure. But
Calamari.
One of the very cool, I love calamari. It's so good. One of the cool mechanics is the octopus, it can change and camouflage itself. So there's this mechanic of you can camouflage yourself with what you're next to as you're kind of escaping. And it just looked like a just different kind of game. It reminded, like, Stray was a nice small game that was like. So I'm excited for
with Stray. I had no problem with Stray. This one doesn't. I guess it looks a little like it looks a little too toned down, dumbed down, kiddish, but not in an appealing to me kind of way. Because I have no problem with kid-like properties or anything.
Yeah,
and just bounced off.
Yeah, so it's free for me. I'll try it. Hopefully, it's as good as it looked because it looked just very different and cool.
Maybe it's something. Maybe it's something that Adira or Adira can play with you.
Yeah,
at least sit with you while you play.
Yes, as she does with Astrobot, and she's delighted by. Yeah, that's what I need to show her Stray. She loves cats.
I wouldn't do it on Switch though.
It is on Switch, isn't it now? I forgot about that.
Sure is. Yep.
Sure is. Yep. And then I was kind of delighted by Days Gone Remastered. One cool thing is there's gonna be a horde mode, which one of the big complaints everyone had about. I haven't actually played more than 3 hours of Days Gone. I got distracted, but I loved what I did play. But the complaint people had is the horde mode doesn't really enter until like the last fifth of the game. Like it's very late game where you get to experience those massive hordes. So to have a whole mode where you can just jump into the part that everyone loves about Days Gone seems great. It'll be $10 upgrade for me since I already bought it a long time ago.
I don't know if I have it. I'll have to check my catalog, see if I can get a cheap upgrade.
Yeah,
and you got it. This is one you got to give it to PlayStation. I mean, PS5 has been out how long? And they're releasing this title and still offering a $10 upgrade on it.
That's great.
I mean, like, I shouldn't be so happy that they're letting me only give them $10, but I'm happy they're letting me only give them $10 if I already
totally.
own.
I mean, the PS4 game looks great, but yeah, I'm excited for all these additions and DualSense features and all that.
It's a weird choice for a game, though. I mean, the studio was apparently turned down on trying to make a Days Gone 2, but now you're re-releasing Days Gone 1 when it didn't sell great, but it ended up ending as not a critical darling, but it was well received by the time it really stopped mattering.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so
weird.
And
it sold well enough. And there's a PC release already, and the PC version will get an update to include all these bonus features. I don't know if that's a DLC purchase or what that'll end up being for that. Or just a free update. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I'm going to play that at some point in a lull if I have that this year. And then Directive 8020, I got super excited by. This is by the people that Supermassive, the Until Dawn developers. So it's story driven, and this is basically this is an Alien ripoff, the Xenomorph. Yeah. Like this is like Prometheus and all that, like as a video game and decisions to keep them alive. I got super jazzed. Like, yeah, give this to me in October, and this will be just a fun time to, yeah.
And I mean, they make it's a good studio to make this kind of a game, you know. So definitely, I had forgotten about that one because the only reason that I'm so invested in that is the studio making it.
Totally, yeah. Like I love what they've done so far. I liked into the Corey game. That was, I thought, very well done. I think this could be one of their best because, like, yeah, the vibes of this are just like dripping with one of my favorite franchises ever. Yeah, so super excited for that. And then Mind's Eye caught my eye. Well, I heard one of the former GTA like heads who left the company, who had a big like lawsuit and is now rich because of that, is making this with all of his money. And it's like, okay, let's do another GTA type game with a different take on it in a more futuristic kind of way. This could be rad. Yeah.
You know, I'm glad he's taking all that experience and not letting it go to waste. We were talking about how much goes into making those GTA games, so it's good that he's doing something with all that experience.
Yeah, so I'm mildly curious about that one. I think it could be great, but not sure yet. Then Lost Records is episode 1's out. I have it downloaded, but I haven't played yet. Life is Strange developers, free on the PS Plus Extra or Premium, and I'm excited to check those out because I like the Life is Strange games. So that was another cool one to drop as well.
So overall, you were I think you were the happiest of us.
Yeah, I was delighted throughout the whole thing. I was like, this is great. It's all good stuff. And Astrobot, we got new levels that are rolling out now. They're bloody difficult. They're giving me some very frustrating. But I finished 2 of them, and yeah, they're good so far. Yeah, but very happy. This as far as expectations go. Like this is, you got one new first party, you know, reveal and a bunch of other great stuff from second parties, and yeah, that's as good as you can get if it's not E3.
You know,
show,
talking on it, and with a couple of reminders from you on some of these games. Again, it still didn't blow me out of the water, but it was a good conference. It was, and there was. I'm not going to say there was something for everybody, but there was even something for me. And I really am. That's the other thing. Dynasty Warriors Abyss, I think, is only a $40 title.
Okay.
It might even only be a $25 title. It's not a full price title.
I just want Hyrule Warriors on my PS5 so it can run nice and smooth, but that'll never happen.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not a fan of the Hyrule Warriors or the. I also am not a fan.
The music is just off the charts.
I'm also not a fan of the Fire Emblem Heroes games.
Wow.
Or the Fire Emblem Warriors, however it's called. I say that because like the core Warriors games, I very much like. When they started adding in like. I've decided I hate the weapon triangle in Fire Emblem. I hate it with a passion. So adding that into my Warriors game, and then like on Zelda or Hyrule Warriors, the gotta slash this way and some of the weird stuff with that. It's just like, that's not what I want from a Warriors game. I want to be all powerful, swing a sword, and kill 2,000 people.
Okay. Oh, and then unrelated to this, Forza Horizon 5 has a release date of April 29th for $60. I think I'll be buying this. This may be my first Microsoft game this year.
Why would you want that when you have Gran Turismo 6 and PSVR 2?
Because it's a different game. It's like an open world,
I
like
know.
Wreak
Yeah.
Havoc kind of game.
Oh, is it? I thought
Um,
it's not just racing.
no, that's the Forza. There's a different
Motorsports.
series. This is the
Okay.
series that's a bit more off the wall and wacko.
Gotcha.
So I would not be interested in the other Forza series because I already have Gran Turismo, but this is a different kind of thing.
I did not realize. Yes,
Yep.
this is their more. Like you said, I
I'll be
guess
so curious if the DualSense stuff is there. Like, did Microsoft take the time to make great haptics when they themselves don't have haptics? It is PS5 Pro enhanced, evidently. So.
Okay, here's the deal. As much as I would love to give Microsoft credit, I'll all but guarantee there's an APK that they plug in for DualSense functionality that will automatically plug and play
I
and
don't-
translate.
You'd hope, but yeah, some companies do better and worse with that stuff for sure.
So, but hey, it'll be funny. It will be. Microsoft.
Yes.
It's already funny how many things Microsoft is making for not Microsoft.
Yeah, I think Indiana Jones is coming out in April or May, so that'll be another.
I played a little bit of
purchase.
that on Xbox Game Pass. It's pretty okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Okay, damn
Yeah,
it, with faint
Pretty
praise.
okay. Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Well, I think that kind of wraps up the state of play, which is great because the next big video kind of can just tie into our big topic, anyways.
Yeah, Pokemon Presents. So there's not a ton I don't think to talk about with Pokemon Presents. What do you want to share about what got shared here?
I'm gonna be real with you. If I was unenthused with the state of play, boy, I was barely a step away from disappointed with Pokemon Presents. This Pokemon
So better.
Presents. Oh no.
Worse.
Yeah, this Pokemon Presents is a video game companies forgot that they don't need to be in the news cycle just to be in the news cycle.
Yeah.
The absolute
We all
only-
forgot that, FYI.
the only thing announced in there also doesn't give me good feel. The only new thing announced in there also does not give me good feelings about the
Pokemon
company,
Champions.
as a whole. Yes, Pokemon Champions, because with Pokemon Champions, then Pokemon Unite, Pokemon, I don't know, there's 2 to 4 other Pokemon games that, damn if it doesn't feel like the Pokemon company is becoming a mobile company. And I'm really going to hate to see that happen.
Yeah.
And it
No,
has me worried.
Champions seems like a way of just battling and doing that stuff outside of the core line games.
Yeah.
Which
So-
I'll be curious to see how that goes.
On the other hand, I did like, getting more information on Pokemon Legends ZA.
Late 2025. No Switch 2 announcement, which doesn't surprise me. I think they will wait until Switch 2 is more properly announced.
I don't think they will do that. I do not think
You don't
they
think
will
it's
really-
even coming to Switch 2?
No.
I mean, leave it to the Pokemon Company to not release the Switch 2 version.
Think about especially the mainline games when the 3DS came out and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 were still released on the Nintendo DS instead of the 3DS.
Yeah, it's true.
There's so many examples of that with the Pokemon Company. This is going to be the only version of that game we are getting until they decide to remake it 4 generations from now.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll have performance enhancements. But I am really excited.
We don't know what kind of automatic improvements these games will have.
I am really excited for it, though. I was beyond blown away and enjoyed Pokemon Legends Arceus. Did either or both of you play that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Did y'all beat it?
Oh yeah.
I
Great game.
I freaking love and actually when we get into the more talk on that, Pokemon Legends has helped me better appreciate the Pokemon Let's Go games.
Hmm.
Which I can get into later.
And ZA is coming to my favorite generation ever, X and Y.
That's your favorite generation?
That is my favorite generation. It was my first generation also, so there may be some of that playing.
Fair.
with it. But I loved X and Y. So we're going back to that realm.
Yeah, there was I didn't hate it or anything. It wasn't, a favorite generation for me or anything like that. I mean, my favorite generation is Generation 4.
Okay. Which one's that again?
Diamond, Pearl, Platinum.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and it also, as far as I'm concerned, has the best third game of a series. Platinum for the Diamond and Pearl was a just phenomenal. Like it was almost an upgrade. The sidestep was so large. But yeah, so basically, the Pokemon Presents, there was not a whole lot to it. Robbie, was there anything big in it that you really wanted to comment on?
No. What year was the one where they had like New Go and Sleep? I play Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sleep, so I don't know what kind of Pokemon. I'm also a very recent Pokemon
Convert.
player, so I get like my feeling about the mobile stuff is mixed. Champions didn't grab me at all. I've enjoyed the Switch Pokemon entries that I've played. I think like Pokemon Legends was definitely the freshest take on the formula. I think like I'm always like interested in like these things that sort of like take traditional grind and sort of like add quality of life. And the idea of like throwing some interesting things you can do in there to like catch Pokemon that doesn't involve just like battling in the same exact way every time under every circumstance was super cool. I hope they kind of improve and iterate on that a little bit. I don't think. Yeah, go ahead.
One area it feels like they are, because actually that's what I was going to say is the Pokemon Legends line seems like that's going to be their fresh line of games where they try new ideas now, right? Because in addition to the different Pokedex that I talked about, what was it? You had, what was it? Strong attack, or it wasn't weak, but you could, every move could be a basic version and it could be enhanced in one of two ways. You could either enhance it left, enhance it right. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing that same thing in Pokemon Legends ZA, but with its own twist, in that there will be a basic version, but then you can also get either a close enhancement or a far enhancement, as if how far away the Pokemon matter is going to matter to the move. So again, like you said, I like that they're doing fresh stuff with the games.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to be curious to know. I have now, since I'm only more recently into these games, I kind of have enjoyed with some of the more like mainline ones, like kind of the trading and all that stuff. I don't remember. Was that part of Legends at all? I don't think it was at all. Was it?
I don't think so.
How about this? If it was one, I think there are a couple people that did some in-game trades. Not that that counts. But if it was, I don't even know anybody else I was playing the game with around the same time to even look at. But I don't think it was made for trade.
No, not really.
But like all of,
and there's only one version, so they didn't try to hide Pokemon away in different versions, which is good.
But like all of this, this isn't their first time making a standalone game. Like, for example, what is it called? Pokemon Gale of Darkness and Shadow something. Both of those were GameCube entries that were fully 3D Pokemon games. And one of them, your starter is Eevee, So it's not the first time they did it, and none of them have ever had trade.
Interesting.
Well, if that's the case, I'll miss that aspect of it. But I think it seems like a good time. I wish these games seem to like have a little bit more attention put into the design and the visual appeal. Like, I don't understand this franchise because I haven't been with it for very long, but like so much attention is put into making the creatures cute and iconic and memorable. I don't understand why the worlds feel so flat and dull.
Yes, not just the world. I hate to break it to everybody. The storyline is the best game is mediocre at best in the Pokemon franchises, so you're right. They put every bit of creative effort into designing the Pokemon, but the game itself, and a lot of people on the Switch, now I was lucky. I did not have all the weird performance issues that other people talk about. I don't know how I didn't, but I've played every Switch entry. I have them all. But yeah, they've really slacked off on caring about the quality of that, which is one of the reasons people are happy that there isn't another entry coming out right now.
Yeah.
So what's the first one that you played, Robbie? Or have you only played the Switch games?
I've only Well, I played a little bit of the original one, like a very, very, very little bit, and then I pretty much skipped them all. Yeah, so I've played like the Switch ones. I didn't play the. What was the first one on the Switch? Is that
Let's
Sword and Shield?
Sword and Shield. Then they did the Let's Go series. Then
Yeah,
it
so I
was
played the Let's Go series, and then everything since.
So you didn't play Sword and Shield because I think Sword and Shield ran better than Scarlet and
I was
Violet.
gonna say they seem kind. I've like watched some videos. They seem kind of fun. I've thought about maybe playing them.
Um, I did enjoy them. There were some interesting Pokemon in them. Like I said, I didn't have the slowdown issues. I will actually say I enjoyed. I don't remember which one I played, if it was Scarlet or Violet, but I enjoyed that generation more than I did Sword and Shield. Like I kind of got to the very end of Sword and Shield. You get your the legendary from the box cover type of thing. It's been a long time since Pokemon's waited that late in the game for you to get the box Pokemon, and it was really anticlimactic. And I didn't really have much desire to keep playing after that. It really did drop off at the end. So it's other than collecting them all, which Tim, don't you have a living Pokedex?
I do. I have every single Pokemon ever released.
And did you also finally get a shiny Dex as well?
No, I have some shinies, but not all of them. But yeah, Robbie, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, you get a DS. What model is this, Jason? It has a GBA cartridge slot.
That is a
as
Nintendo
well.
DS Lite, the
The
Legend
DS
of
Lite.
Zelda.
Yeah, the DS Lite has a GBA slot and a DS slot, which means you can play the GBA Pokemon games on there, which they've released Fire Red and Leaf Green, the first generation. So you can get every generation of Pokemon, GBA and onwards, which is all of them, and transfer GBA games to DS. And from there, you can transfer DS games on the 3DS. DS cartridges work on the 3DS, so you can transfer them to Pokemon Bank from there. And so you basically, with the DS Lite and a 3DS and a Switch, you can get a complete Pokedex.
So tell me, how do you
yeah.
define a complete Pokedex, if not just like having a completed Pokedex in each
So-
game separately?
Yeah. So,
No, Tim. This
Uh-huh.
is the right way to do it because this is the Pokemon Red new Nintendo 3DS. You know what I have on here, Tim?
uh-huh.
I have
What's that?
Pokemon Red Virtual Console, which
Can you
talks
transfer those to?
to Pokemon Home on 3DS. Yes. you
Oh,
can.
I forgot about that. That would be a way to do it as well.
Yeah,
I did enjoy the
one
GBA
Pokemon.
transfers. That was a fun just experience to have. But so the thing with Pokemon is the Pokemon evolve, right? So a living Pokedex means I have all the evolutions in the like a Pokemon Home. I
get that part.
So I can
But, like,
grab
you-
any
but-
of them. Yeah.
But what does it mean that you have them all? Like, what is there an extra layer of meaning beyond in each game you have a complete living dex? Like, is there any like Pokemon Home? I feel like I need a PhD in to understand. Like,
So Pokemon. So basically, after I'm done with the game, and I have the complete Pokedex from that game or whatever,
right?
I would transfer them to home, basically.
Okay.
And I would actually only need to transfer like the new ones for the national decks.
But what does that mean? So let's take a game like that I'm familiar
Yeah.
with, like Pokemon Scarlet. You collect all the Pokemon. You have living dex.
Yes.
Can you transfer every Pokemon to Pokemon Home?
Yes. Pokemon
Yes.
Home is basically they first had a software called. Well, actually, the first thing they had
Pokemon
was-
Bank,
No. First one that they had was
Poke
Pokemon.
Transporter.
Nope, Pokemon storage boxes.
Oh,
on
that's right.
It was on GameCube. I think there was some other subtitle to it. Then after that, on Wii, they had it was called Pokemon Ranch, which you could transfer your Pokemon into, and they were walking around the ranch, and you could play with toys with them and stuff like that. I lost a lot of event Pokemon that I uploaded to my Pokemon Ranch, and then lost that system died, so I lost a lot of event only Pokemon to that. And then after that, they released Pokemon Bank, which got defunct and is now Pokemon Home.
Do you want to know how many hours I spent in Pokemon Bank? I've got my activity log here. What would you guess my hour
Bank or home?
count in Bank?
Okay, in Bank,
and bank. How many hours I spent transferring stuff out of the GBA, the
God.
DS, and all that, and getting it up the bank and managing all the Pokemon there.
80.
No, much less, but still
Okay.
a lot.
I don't know how long the transfer is taking because
It's 15 hours and 3 minutes in Pokemon Bank.
and that's just
It's my
transferring
21st
Pokemon.
most played game on my 3DS.
That's almost criminal.
My most played game on my 3DS is Pokemon X at 290 hours. So
Okay.
that
I have more questions about Pokemon Home actually. So
okay. Yeah.
you can so Pokemon Home. So first of all, you have to pay for it, right? To
You do. It's
transfer
like
that money?
$15 a year.
Okay. So you transfer all of your Pokemon from all of your games into it, and it is aware of every Pokemon from like is there like different instances of a Pikachu, for example? Is there like a Pokemon Red version of Pikachu that is distinct from
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's
Yep,
regional, like there's a Hawaii version of some Pokemon.
I'd like to point out, no, a Pikachu, a basic Pikachu will have been the same if it was a Gen 1 Pikachu with subtle differences in so much as
Party hats.
like Gen 1, there'll be different moves that they would have learned as they level up.
But
are
your
those
question,
distinct-
ignoring
are those
Pikachu,
distinct
but
entries in a
ignoring-
in Pokemon Home?
No.
they're
Okay.
not. But yeah, ignoring your question, ignoring the actual Pokemon, there are some Pokemon that have different regional differences, like the Hawaii region. There's a Hawaiian version of the
Alola.
Executor, Alola, yes. The tree Pokemon are taller in that one, and so there are differences there with that.
Isn't there
And
another
there are
one?
some Pokemon that you can't transfer right away into the new games. They'll wait some time before they let you do that to make sure you don't basically cheese your way through games properly.
Yeah, usually when a new game comes out, don't they take like 2 to 3 months to get Pokemon Home support?
Yeah,
for it?
they often do. Yep.
Basically, so that you don't, as he said, just transfer your overpowered team in and just walk through the game. But essentially, Pokemon Home is just a digital storage system for your Pokemon. So that
I didn't realize it actually supported all of the Pokemon ever. So what does it do? Go?
It does.
Yes,
it works
yes.
with Go. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have all of
And you
those?
can so you can transfer stuff from Go into the real games through that mechanism. Yeah.
I know.
It
Okay, I did
transfers-
know that.
And
It
you can
transfers
transfer from Pokemon Bank to Home. So there is a transfer process that you can move everything over to Home out of your 3DS.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have every Pokemon Go Pokemon also?
I don't. I just have the national deck. So like 1 through whatever 1,000 whatever. I have one of every a Pokemon basically.
I guess actually, hold on. So are there actually? Now that I think about it, I'm wondering: are there Pokemon in Pokemon Go that do not exist in that dex?
I don't believe so.
No.
So, so technically,
the
you would be
only-
complete then.
Yeah, there are Pokemon Go has all the hat variants and everything
Yeah.
like that, but Pokemon Home doesn't treat any of those differently. Every entry is its own entry, but when you upload, like for example, there's a flying Pikachu that literally has balloons attached to him, right? If you upload him in there, it counts as having a Pikachu, but it will make sure you know that this Pikachu is a flying Pikachu. Like it has the flying subtype and everything. It's not a different entry, but it does track the different versions in there.
Yeah.
Did that help?
It did. Yeah. No, I didn't realize it was as comprehensive. Because I've always wondered: is there one place where you can track everything you've ever caught? I guess Home does it.
Home is
Yes.
it, yeah.
Home is it.
Because each game has their own Pokedex, so you can get a complete Pokedex in that game. But the national Dex is its own thing, where the national Dex is, one. It just keeps going up, and so that's a different kind of thing.
So yeah, Robbie, since you've only played the Switch ones, of the Switch ones, which one? First of all, what is your favorite starter?
From the Switch.
Well, of any of them. I mean, if you're familiar with some of the others, sure. But I figure since you've only played the Switch games, what's your favorite starter out of those that you've
Listen,
played with?
I really enjoyed Quaxley. I had a good time with him.
Oh, he's great.
Quaxley, was that the same generation that it was Grookey was the grass starter in that
Is
generation?
that the cat? It's got a cat and a dragon also in it.
No. Okay, yeah, no. I was thinking of the other generation. What did I get that? Oh, is this the one with the? I'm just gonna look up what the starters were that generation because I
Sure.
really don't remember.
And you'll have to all excuse me for not knowing all the names of things, but in the new upcoming one, I always just choose the one that's the cutest, and for me, it's the pig.
Oh yeah, pig looks great.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. In the newest one.
In the upcoming, in ZA.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. What's the name of that Pokemon? The one that you like.
Quaxley.
Was it Quaxley? I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
I
I also
don't-
pick on cuteness, and sometimes like my favorite starter is Squirtle. He's the OG best, and
No.
I refuse to evolve Squirtle. Squirtle, just stay Squirtle till level 99. I refuse to evolve him because he's cuter as Squirtle.
Hey, how does it feel to be so wrong, Tim? Because first of all, the
Uh,
OG best is unequivocally Charmander.
No,
Yeah.
Squirtle is the best.
First of all, especially the episode of the Pokemon anime that introduces Charmander.
Well, that's
is
a good episode.
heart wrenching,
That's a good one.
and Squirtle Squad are a bunch of hooligans.
Oh,
themselves.
That's good. The Squirrel Squad. Are you Robbie, Squirtle or Charmander? Who would you?
It's Squirtle for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's the best, man. Squirtle is the best.
No,
from the
no.
OGs. Yeah.
Especially first of all, Charmander or Charizard, shiny Charizard is black.
But I'm not
You
talking
have
about the
a black
evolutions. I'm not talking about the evolutions, Jason. I don't evolve my Squirtle.
Yeah,
He
That-
stays the little cute guy forever.
no,
Just like
obviously-
Pikachu never becomes a Raichu. Why would you do that to your
Okay, no,
Pikachu?
that's fair. That's fair. And the anime talked about that. Pikachu
Yeah.
did not want to evolve
No.
to defeat Raichu. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can't do that.
yeah, I'm being a nerd. Yes, I really
Yeah.
like Pokemon. If you couldn't tell, no, my favorite starter is hands down, like I said, Charmander.
Mhm.
Favorite generation is Gen 4. And then like I hate to sound like such an edgy teenager type of thing, but some of my favorite Pokemon are things like Darkrai. I just like the way he looks. I like a lot of the really cool legendaries like Darkrai and Giratina. It's two ghost types. But it's they look so edgy and cool. I'm just a big kid. I like cool looking Pokemon. Like I'm actually really disappointed. My least favorite Gen 1 Pokemon is Dragonite because I absolutely hate the final evolution of the Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite line. It goes from a cool looking serpent to something that looks like it's related to Barney.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just not me.
So my favorite Pokemon is a Pokemon that blew my mind. This is the X and Y generation, Robbie. This is Pokemon 666, the devil's number, right?
I forgot about
The
that.
Antichrist number. This so you get Scatterbug, this little Pokemon. He evolves into Spupa, and then becomes this beautiful butterfly Vivillon. And the thing, this Pokemon made me realize how wild Pokemon can be. There are 20 variations of the Vivillon Pokemon. This is the 3DS era. It's entirely based on the region that Pokemon was caught. So if you're in Japan, you're going to get a different Pokemon butterfly. It'll look different. The colors will be different from me in North America. If you're in Germany, it'll be different. If you're in, Antarctica, I don't know. There's 20 different regions across the world. And people were trading like legendary Pokemons to get like certain rare regions like in Africa or something because they're less common. So this is a whole thing of like trading, like getting, trading your one legendary you get to get this one butterfly because you really want all 20. I got all 20. It was quite a ride to get those. And you can't really cheese it easily to get to change your region or whatever. So that was the 666 Pokemon. 666 Pokemon is by far the best Pokemon ever created, I think.
I love the number and that they went all in with it.
It's so good, right? Yeah.
Out of curiosity, though, if you use a Ditto for breeding purposes, can you breed more of the rare regions, or because you're in?
No, it's based on your region.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like hard. That sucks.
And I have some shiny scatterbugs, and it's a beautiful white shiny because I did a lot of. I bred my Pavilions to trade with other regions, and so I probably have like hundreds of these things in my home because I just have so many of them. Yeah, and you trade for random scatterbugs as well because you just hope upon hope that you get a different color at the end.
Yeah,
it's great. It's 666. Like the Pokemon company, they knew what they were doing.
Like they could have leaned in and really, kind of leaned into the whole 666 and done some like dark type Pokemon or something like that, whatever. But no, instead they did this. They had fun, and making so many of them, they
made the fans go wild and nuts over this.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's awesome.
And it took away any possible connection again to somebody. 666
devil worshipping, because that was like a thing with Pokemon in the 90s or whatever it was. Like, these Pokemon kids, the devil or whatever.
Every single time there's a new game that comes out, PETA protests it.
Sure.
So
I mean, if you think about Pokemon, it's kind of dark with like capturing these things.
It's a video game. Stop.
I agree.
But I did look it up, and the generation that had Quaxley, I did use that little grass cat. I just forgot the name, and the final version is Meowscarda, which is a grass dark type, and I just think that's really cool.
Yeah,
that was what I used that generation. What about the offshoot games? Have you played any of them, Robbie?
Give me some examples.
Well, first of all, do you own a 3DS? Well, Shiza, never mind. That doesn't matter because the eShop is down. Yeah.
Is that the only way to play any of them? I do have a 3DS.
Well, there are
cartridges.
There are some that are digital only. For example,
that's true.
I have Pokemon Dream Radar, which it uses the AR and you're moving around like catching Pokemon in space around you. That was it was fun. They had legendaries that you could transfer to the mainline game. Or they have the Pokemon Rangers series. That is also.
I mean, the best one, Pokemon Snap on the N64.
I was gonna say I've played that one, and isn't there a Switch version of it?
Yeah,
there is
like a remake.
No, a new one, all new.
It's a new one.
Yeah,
new Pokemon Snap. Yes, that's a great one. And actually, Tim, I can't 100% say that is the best offshoot. If not, it's tied. It's tied because there is Pokemon. Nope, Pokemon Conquest for Nintendo DS. They took Nobunaga's Ambition, which is a strategy RPG a la Final Fantasy Tactics set in feudal Japan, and added Pokemon, and it's still a strategy RPG with Pokemon and feudal Japanese warlords.
That sounds cool.
It is phenomenal. It's such a weird mashup. They only made one. It's such a weird.
Is it
mashup.
on cartridge or?
Yes, it is on cartridge. I don't have that one within easy reach, but I do have that cartridge.
Oh, another thing you got to be wary for. There are a lot of fake Pokemon games from the GBA era and earlier. Like that is a thriving eBay thing, and that they've got really good at faking the games. And the problem with the fakes is you can't trade those into Pokemon from other. Like they know, like there's no way to actually export the Pokemon out.
Really?
I thought that was a thing with the fake games that like they wouldn't trade properly. Is that a fake?
No, this is a real one.
Okay.
This is my real game that I've had from the original time.
They are expensive. The real ones.
I wouldn't know. I'm never going to sell it. I mean, my system is beat up. I need to get a new shell for it. But yeah, no, I'm never selling my Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, I've got that on my 3DS. I bought that as a digital game. I didn't get all of them, but I did get Yellow.
When the 3DS Virtual Console was getting ready to shut down, I made sure to download whatever Pokemon titles that I had. I wish I would have had a lot of disposable income at that moment, just extra, because as you can see, I have the Pokemon new 3DS. I wanted every single Pokemon game digitally.
Yeah, that got
bought
real
it.
expensive. Yeah, but I spent 19 hours in a yellow one on my 3DS, so played
Yeah.
through it. Yeah.
I absolutely I enjoy the franchise, even without all the innovation. And that's why, Robbie, you were mentioning how it has been repetitive, or it doesn't do a whole lot to change things up, or for the various ones, the story, and it doesn't change a lot up. It's been like that pretty much all along. I mean, I remember before they did 2 versus 2 battling, then they did 3 versus 3 battling, but those things weren't always there. They're so slow to add anything. I could appreciate a change in the art style. I did not like the art style for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I felt that unnecessary. It would have been just better to have a more standard art instead of the weird chibi one they went with for some reason. It didn't make sense to me. But I'm still a huge fan. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's an addictive series, especially the collecting nature of me. I love collecting things and just like, oh man, it's the draw is real.
I could easily fall into gotcha games, and this is a gotcha game without being gotcha. You actually have a chance to do everything and get it yourself, which is what I absolutely love. I mean,
I definitely traded with myself because I had multiple 3DSs. I would I would trade with myself because there's some evolutions you need to trade to get and all that. Yeah.
Do you still have all those 3DSs?
Yeah, I still have I haven't sold any of them. I still have the complete. I've got like 10 or 12 3DSs, Robbie.
You have the complete? I thought you were missing a couple.
No, I don't have the complete, but I haven't sold any. Is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
He has a lot of 3DSs, Robbie. Like,
because back then I was single, and it's like, what's another $200 for a 3DS? I mean,
what's the number? How many do you have?
Probably like 12. I want to say.
That's insane.
Yeah. So I got backup hardware in case any of them fail.
No, my first Pokemon was because I started back then. I was in high school when Pokemon came out, and I didn't have a Game Boy even at the time. I had to go out. I bought a new Game Boy, so that I think it was a Game Boy Pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought Pokemon Red. And I remember smuggling that thing into school because, you weren't allowed to bring stuff like that into school. And I'd be sitting inside my oversized coat with my arms pulled in, trying to play the game in class, on a Game Boy that had next to no light to it. So I'm trying to get ambient light while I play. That's all she wrote. And I fell in love with the anime right away. I used to play the card game. Like, I had so many of the cards that I finally gave away about 5 years ago. I've been for Pokemon.
Those original cards are valuable, I hear.
It varies, and especially they recently did they re-released the original set of the Pokemon trading card game as a complete box set. Get the full set and get so they knew that they were hard to get, and also the thing about those older cards, they're not viable for play anymore, so they're just for pretties, and I have enough other things to collect.
Okay, yeah. They're pretty to me. That's why I would want them. Did you get the McDonald's Pokemon cards?
My daughter has gotten some of them. I have not.
Okay.
I mentioned to you guys before, and it's sadly something I don't have in reach. The only Pokemon cards I have, and I need to get the full set. I have 2 of when the Pokemon movies came out. Pokemon the first movie. Burger King had little Pokeballs that were about the size of a softball that opened up and had gold-plated card inside of it.
That's cool.
I have 2 of those. I have Jigglypuff and Charizard.
Very nice. No Squirtle.
No, but I do want to get the full set. I really do. There were 6 of them, and I'd love to get them all.
Yeah, when I had to get milk the other day, and the only thing open was McDonald's, and it was a Pokemon branded milk carton, which was delightful.
I can't imagine a sentence that says I had to get milk and the only place that was open was McDonald's.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely though. I'm looking forward to more coming in Pokemon.
Hopefully the Switch 2 will lend to better performant games. Yes. We'll see.
Though again, because we were talking, mentioned it earlier, and to kind of transition as we keep talking about Pokemon, but what we're playing, I'm going back through Pokemon Let's Go right now. And I can tell you, here's the deal. First time I played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, I finished that game. I did not care for it at
Now, are you
all.
using the Pokemon Ball controller when you're playing?
I've used the Pokeball. Sometimes I use the Pokeball. Sometimes I have an
Yeah.
8-bit dough. I use different controllers, whatever.
Okay.
I do like the Pokeball, though. I use it when I can. That having been said, I didn't like the catch mechanic in the game. I missed my real battling.
Oh,
Yep,
Robbie's
that
got
one
it.
right
Yeah.
there. I missed my real battling and everything like that. But after playing Pokemon Legends, which changed, and Pokemon Legends was the first Pokemon that I felt was really all about just constant catching of Pokemon.
Totally.
In the standard games, you're not catching. I'm sorry, unless you're trying for competitive play and you're looking for
Yeah.
perfect stats or whatever. You're not going
Shiny
out there.
hunting.
Yeah. So it made it where Let's Go, just the gameplay just isn't what I was looking for. But after playing Pokemon Legends Arceus now, and seeing catching as a mechanic unto itself, and that it has its purpose, I'm actually enjoying my second playthrough of Let's Go. And I'm playing Let's Go because I'm playing Pikachu and my daughter is playing Eevee, and we're actually going to kind of commit. Because I have a collection problem. Every one of the games on Switch, I have both of the games for the generation. So we're going to go through. She's going to play Eevee. I'm playing Pikachu. Then she'll probably play Shield. I'll play Sword. Back and forth like that. And we're going to try and work together to get each other our own living dexes.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Because that is Gen 1. Every Gen 1 Pokemon's in there.
It is. And here's the deal, though.
Can you get all the Pokemon now through the Switch games?
I do believe, with the exception of some possible legendaries, actually. No, there's some possible legendaries that got weird.
Yeah. But the black games aren't there, though, right? That generation's missing. And I guess X and Y.
Well, I mean, yeah, but a lot of those Pokemon are interspersed into the Sword and Shield, Scarlet, Violet, Diamond, Pearl.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, actually, no, there's not many of them in Diamond, Pearl, but mostly Scarlet, Violet, and Sword and Shield.
Okay, gotcha.
But
you're going to see what you can do for getting a living dex set up. Yeah.
Yes,
cool.
But the other thing is that's the reason I brought that out. And like I said, I actually am. I'm using Pokemon Let's Go to play through that, and I'm going to help my daughter get some of the Pokemon she's missing for that. And I'm going to use it literally to shiny hunt myself a shiny Charizard, because I love that in Let's Go you can catch your 3 starter Pokemon in that game. It is the
I do have a shiny Charizard.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got it. Yeah.
You probably got it from that game or from Let's Go.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I am also trying to play back through, like I said, the Virtual Console, partially because I would rather have pulled those Pokemon over than the Let's Go Pokemon over. And I did the glitch in Gen 1 so I could get myself a level 1 Mew that I can train up and take with me.
Yes.
Because there's a glitch in the first game and it exists in the Virtual Console. It's one of those, talk to this person, take this many steps, get in a fight with this person. And you sequence break, and it allows you to basically summon a Pokemon of your choosing, and it's a level 1, and you're able to catch it. You fight it and catch it.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's also, like I said, I'm doing a lot of Pokemon, but that's what I've been playing. Tim, what have you been playing?
So I played some of the Astrobot Let's Speed levels, but they're good. I'd recommend it.
You said they're difficult?
They're very difficult, yes. I booted up my PlayStation 3 when I had some TV time, and I played through Resistance 3. So I've now finished the trilogy, and it ends on a very high note. I wish they did more of these things, because, man, they're beautiful games.
Did it at least end on a complete note? Like, did they clearly end what they were planning to do?
Complete enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it left it either. It could end there, which it did, or it could have kept on going. But like the gameplay was just it was great. Like, it was just a great shooter, great story and world building, and being in America and going to some cool locations. A new character that you've seen before in the prior games. There were some characters that died that were like, oh, I can't believe they did that kind of thing, and like, and there was a very weird section that I just loved where the humans become like your real enemy versus like the aliens. Like, you know how like in the end of the world type stuff, like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
our own world's worst. Yeah.
We were the monsters all along.
And there's
or
this
whatever.
crazy gun in that section where it like attaches to the human you attack with the gun, and spores come off of them, and they just like, it's wild, this gun. Like,
Yeah.
and like you can, and there's like smoke coming off of them that would get the other humans and stuff. Like, some of the weapons in this game are just very creative, and I appreciate that about them. And there's a lot of like secondary attacks that are very creative as well in the Resistance series, and especially with 3. And like, it reminds me of like Perfect Dark on the N64, how you have like the secondary thing that's like the Farsight gun. You're like shooting through walls and crazy stuff with the secondary weapon. Like, you have crazy stuff with the secondary stuff sometimes. So Resistance 3, I'm glad I played that. Nice quick game. Like, it was like 8 hours maybe. Like, I played on easy mode, but still, it was like a nice sizable. Like, it's nice to have a nice blockbuster game where I can just like get in and out. Like, I think Call of Duty is probably the closest thing we have now, where they're not too long and they're just like nice little weekend games.
Because it's PlayStation 3. I know a lot of PlayStation 3 games, and I don't know if this one had, or if you did. Was there a 3D option?
There was. I don't have a monitor, sadly.
Oh.
It's on the streaming thing, but I did it on actual hardware. And Resistance 3 did a cool thing with trophies too. So in the actual game, there was like a library of, here's all the trophies for the game, and as you earn them, they show up in there, and you gain points that you can spend on different unlockables, including cheat codes. So you could have like unlimited ammo as a cheat code if you get enough trophies. So I loved how they used the trophy mechanic, which is very rewarding on itself, but built on that for in-game rewards, which I have not seen many games do that. I don't know why, because it seems like a brilliant thing to like, let's integrate the trophy system into our actual game to bring in-game rewards. Like, that seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So that was cool as a thing. But yeah, I love the whole thing. Like, there's cheat codes you unlock, like all the weapons from the get-go, unlimited ammo, and all sorts of just stuff like that. And then the other thing I've been playing, Robbie has also been playing, and that's well, I'll close with that. But San Andreas was another next thing. I'm about 16, 17 hours into this one. I'm in the final area of the game. I accidentally stumbled in the final area of the game earlier, and when you do that, the cops don't like it. So I was like 4-star trying to escape the area, and it did not end well. And then
You didn't just put in the cheat code to turn off all your stars?
I have not figured out the cheat code. Well, even if I did, the stars instantly go back. Like, I would go into the shops to repaint your engine, and like within seconds, like, it's back because they don't want you in the area yet, kind of thing. So they were angry because I used a boat to get over there, and but it's such a vast, sprawling world, and it's wild they built this in the PS2 for this thing, because I can't believe I missed out on these back in that era.
But also, I mean, as much as we talk about how great Rockstar is, you have a valid point. I mean, they still made great games with lots of systems compared to other games, but look how many more they were able to churn out back then.
Yeah, they made 3 pretty sizable games, and Samuel L. Jackson is in this game, which is wild. It's wild. I think I mentioned that last time, but I'm much further into the game now, and there are some cool, like, there's mechanics in the game that, at least so for now, have disappeared, like the gang and building up territories. That's gone. I'm now in like the countryside area. I had a mode there, and now I'm in like Vegas, which is wild. There's like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Vegas in this one area. I love like condensing the West Coast into like this like game size world.
Kind of want to see their map of America.
Exactly, right? I'm curious about 6, because I guess 5 is also LA area. I think I need to play that.
Yeah.
Still.
And isn't 6? I don't remember. Is 6 going to be
Florida?
Florida. Yeah, I thought so. Because
Which Vice City was Florida as well. So I'm curious if there's going to be interaction there.
Miami Vice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I bet you there might be a callback or two, but that's about it.
But yeah, these things are so much fun on Switch. Like they're the perfect Switch games. Like they look great on Switch and they run really well. And then the last thing, Final Fantasy Rebirth. I am 65 hours into it. Robbie, would you like to start on how you're feeling about this game so far?
Yeah, it's kind of fun to go through this game with you. I think we're going to probably end up finishing it around the same time as each other. You're definitely committed to the sides.
This time, the remake, I skipped all that stuff.
Yeah, what's funny is like that was like a COVID game for me. So I did, I think most of the side stuff in that one. I'm having a great time with it. I mean, this was the reason I bought the PS5. You know, so I'm so pleased that this is like my first like really big game that I'm doing on it. It looks
especially
looks great.
The Pro, which it runs so much better on.
Yeah, I've spent enough. It's been long enough since I've done one of these games that I just forget like how good they nail the music. Also, it's really got better music than like almost any other game I've ever played. Like it's really very, very well done. So I'll be sad to see it go. But of course, I've probably been spending most of my last month and a half, 2 months on it. I've been kind of slow lately, so
yeah.
I'm looking forward to like kind of moving on. But yeah, it's going really well. I think we're both in the same chapter of the game, which is the second to last. And it starts
12, right?
Oh no, I'm in 13.
Or 13? Okay.
I think there's 14 chapters. Chapter 13 is long.
Okay.
It's like yeah. I'm on like my 80th boss in chapter 13 right now.
Yeah, I think I'm in 12. I just finished I finished like every side quest you can do in the game, and I finished the Meridian Ocean, finding the stuff in there and all that.
I don't think there's any
so
side
much
quests in
stuff.
chapter 13.
There's no.
Yeah,
there's
I don't
new
know.
Side quests. Yeah,
no, it takes place sort of all in the same area.
Yeah, I think my hunch is
what area?
I have everything unlocked as far as like the side quests and all that.
Tim, is it a spoiler to tell you like that it's mostly just takes place in the temple?
Okay.
I assume that's where we're headed because that's what we're looking like key to get in there or whatever. So
okay, yeah.
You telling me the temple means I know where, because I haven't played the remake. I'm just talking, original, so I understand story wise where you are.
No, I've not played the original game, so I've no idea what that is.
I actually, with that, I know you guys are playing Rebirth, remake, integrate, and/or Rebirth. Are one or both of those available on streaming PlayStation Plus?
Yeah. Integrate is, which has remake and integrate in it, which is I did
what
a
about
lot
Rebirth
of that.
though? Is Rebirth available?
Rebirth is not.
Damn. I don't know. Maybe I'll play through. I'll stream through Rebirth and then see about or remake and then see about catching up to you guys on Rebirth just to try. Because again, I played Final Fantasy VII back in the day, so maybe I'll just do a mainline run, kind of like Robbie is.
Yeah, you can mainline through remake, especially on
short,
lower difficulties at like 20 hours or so.
I can't let myself play on lower difficulty yet. I'm trying.
Okay,
I understand.
Okay. It makes the games go faster.
It does, but it also makes me go. It also makes me say, "Why did I do this? It's too easy. If I make it too easy and I just breeze through,
sure."
I ask myself, "Why?"
I will say I did die on easy mode in remake.
I'm not sure what that says more about Tim.
It says the game can be bloody difficult at times, and some of the bosses were stupidly hard, even on easy.
There's a couple of interesting ones so far in Rebirth that I don't remember anything giving me too much trouble in remake, but there's been a couple ones where I'm just like where they just sort of changed like how it just like I didn't sign up for like dodging stuff when I play. I mean, dodging as a mechanic is sort of. I mean, we could talk at length about the combat system. I think the combat system in these is I think it's like my favorite Final Fantasy combat system. I think
really.
I really like Materia from 7. I never stopped thinking that was a cool mechanic, and then just like the way they've sort of put some of the time-based stuff.
Materia isn't a part of the original Final Fantasy 7.
No, it is.
It is okay.
Okay, yeah, but that's what he's saying. But every Final Fantasy. How many Final Fantasies have you played, Tim?
This 16 was my first.
You've
then
been playing
7.
them all in order, right?
No, I played 16 and then
7.
7 remake.
Okay.
How many?
So
how many have you played, Robbie?
Okay. 7, 8, 12, 13. This one.
Okay, so mostly the newer stuff, and see, like I'm torn, and I recently read an article because you were talking about the combat system. I miss turn-based combat.
I think you can put it in turn-based mode and just play traditional.
But if I remember correctly, I tried that on remake, and it's not the same.
Yeah, I never tried it, so I don't know if it's.
I mean, do you remember the original turn-based combat? I very much enjoyed it. I like a turn-based combat, especially in a JRPG.
Like a Pokemon game.
But honestly, though, the article I read pointed out the difference between a turn-based game and like an action RPG like Final Fantasy has
Xenoblade
is in a turn-based game, I get to make all the decisions, but in those I set parameters and stuff like that. But your other party members are kind of doing stuff on their
They
own,
are, for sure.
And I like the control. That's one of the reasons I think I kind of bounced off. And actually, I don't even need to stream it. I have my wife bought me Final Fantasy Remake for PlayStation 4 as soon as pre-orders became available, and I didn't get the game for like 6 years. So yeah, I still have it.
I mean, I would recommend playing the PS5 version since that is better
because it's streamed.
It has Integrate in there as well.
And I'll tell you. Sorry, if I'm slanting this conversation here, but I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to playing next. You might really want to check out, which is I'm going to finally get to Metaphor, and if you like traditional gameplay, turn-based, but where the way that you take turns has been like vastly improved from a stylistic and quality of life point of view. Like some of these more recent Altus games are like real crunchy. Like they feel good to do the turns. Like they've just like reduced the amount of like menus deep that things are, and the speed of the animations are like really dialed in. And you just like there are times where you forget you're playing a turn-based game because of how quickly you can like select through the menus and watch things happen. It's very buttery.
That's Metaphor?
Yeah. So I would say like pretty much it's like sort of they're continuing to iterate on like the Persona 5 combat, which I think is good. Like they had Persona 3, the remake is just even better.
Remember, I still haven't played any of the Personas, so that doesn't help me much. And the one, I was playing Shin Megami Tensei 5.
You haven't played any of the Personas, Jason?
So what's funny is that SMT 5, I feel like doesn't have any of the good turn-based menu stuff that I think makes the more recent Persona games so good. Like,
I mean, Jason, you need to play Persona 5 Royal, obviously.
Honestly, I have a lot of meaty JRPGs and other RPGs already on my backlog. Okay. I'm kind of waiting until something just forces me to say, nope, it's time.
Okay. It's on Switch. Runs great there.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. In the Final Fantasy VII Remake, in easy mode, one of the last boss fights was with Barret and Aerith, and Barret fell, and I had to finish killing this big boss with Aerith, who has no substantial attacking abilities, and I managed to squeak out a victory right before she died, which was very satisfying, I must say.
And that was you said that was on Remake?
That was on a remake, yeah.
Yeah.
One very satisfying thing in Rebirth, I finished the card game, Queen's what is it
Gambit.
called? What is it called, Robbie?
Queen's
Blood.
Queen's Blood.
Queen's Blood, yeah. And that was a cool just storyline, but also that card game is fire. Like they should release like a standalone game that's just Queen's Blood.
Was that in Remake or is that in?
No, I think it was an Integrate maybe, but it is a Rebirth game.
Well, I haven't played Integrate. Like I said, I started Remake, but I didn't have the Integrate version. But that having been said, that card game isn't in the original version of the game. What kind of card game is it?
How would we describe this, Robbie?
Robbie, did you played Final Fantasy VIII? Is it anything like the Triple Triad card game in Final Fantasy VIII?
I barely remember that.
So you're playing this card. You're trying to win rows, getting the most points in each row.
There's 3 rows, and you want to have the most points per row, and it's all or nothing. So whoever has the most points takes all the points, and then you have different cards, and then the different cards can be placed in the grid different ways, and then like when you
modify
place a card,
different cards. Yeah,
right. And then when you place a card, it has a certain like value to which like certain cards like adjacent or like parallel to it will have pawns added to them that and then certain other cards that you play later require a certain number of cards like pawns to be on a card that is placed adjacent to or parallel to or something. So you're sort of like trying to place cards in a way strategically, which allows you to later place higher value cards. And then some of them have powers, special moves. I haven't played it.
And you can play cards on top of other cards with some of the cards. So one strategy is just trying to just claim every spot in the board as much as you can, because then later you can play cards on top of those cards to get more points from it. It goes really deep, and easy mode does not affect the challenge of those card games, to my knowledge. And man, some of those later card matches were just like infuriatingly difficult, and it was very, very satisfying to finish all of the games. And it's baffling they didn't give me at least a bronze trophy for that work. Like, I'm very angry at Square for that one.
It sounds like I'd probably get lost down a rabbit hole of just playing that game over playing the main game.
Absolutely, you can. It's good.
That having been said, I'll show you. I do actually have a real Final Fantasy Chocobo's Crystal Hunt tabletop card game.
Very nice.
This is my family loves this one actually.
And
Robbie,
yeah, Red is a fascinating character, Robbie. I was blown away with that reveal. Do we want to do a spoiler thing at all with Red?
I'm sorry, the game originally came out over 20 years ago.
But you have people like me that's never played the original.
I don't remember how the original game handles that moment that you
there's no voice acting with the original game, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that's all. We're gonna finish with this, and then we'll be done. I think, right?
Yeah.
So spoilers for the Red reveal.
Isn't it Red 13?
Yeah. Red.
Isn't his name Red 13?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Red
so
13, yep.
This dog, who we are introduced to in Remake, the first game, he kind of looks like an old dog that's kind of been beaten down and tested upon, and he looks old. He's got an old man, very charming voice. And then when he goes to his home, he starts talking like a little boy. And oh boy, the reveal that he is actually a kid instead of this old grizzled dog. That blew my mind. Like, what the hell?
It was funny.
That was just wild to me. Oh my god, that was such a mind blowing moment. I'm so glad I did not know about that in advance.
You guys are both most of the way through the game, and so Robbie, it may be better for you, but at this point, all of the characters from Final Fantasy VII you've got, like the original 7.
Two are unplayable by the end of the second installment, I believe. They're in the story, but you cannot put them in your party.
Who?
Sid and Vincent.
Really? I'm curious why the story goes that way. I guess I'll have to get
Tim,
there.
I'm like 99% sure you've hit those moments of the story,
Vincent.
so I think we're good.
Which one's Vincent again?
The vampire with the gun?
Yeah. That guy's rad.
Yeah, the emo guy that everybody
Sid's
fell in
so
love with.
different from Sid in 16. Like, I love who's driving the...
Not counting Final Fantasy 1, every Final Fantasy since then has had a Sid, has had Chocobo, and has had two people named what are their names? Biggs and Wedge.
And the world traversal with the Chocobos has been interesting. Like, some of the places to get to, of like, how the hell do I get up there? And some Chocobos have different powers as you go to different places, and like That's
some
been
let you walk on
interesting.
water, some let you climb mountains.
Fly over water, even, yeah.
So
Definitely have to look at some YouTube videos to find some of the hard to reach areas. Yeah.
Tim, I just like really have to be careful because I know you don't like spoilers, but also I
Yeah,
know
I
you do
don't,
like
yes.
read research online. But do you know what in the original game you can do with Chocobo?
No.
Okay.
Okay, Tim.
Also,
do you
the
know about
racing
Golden
has been
Saucer? Okay,
cool. The racing minigame that should be a whole game too. Like,
It
who
is.
needs Mario Kart when you have Chocobo racing?
Okay, it is like, but you also don't understand that racing is I'm sorry, it used to be. I don't know if it changed for the remake, but in the original, that racing was integral. I need you to hear me. Integral, mandatory for breeding to get to a gold chocobo, and you need yeah.
That's not in this game as far as I know.
Well, how about this? Because I'm not worried about spoilers. I will Google because the racing, it is a game into itself, and
Yeah,
I
the
had so
racing's
much fun.
great. I had so much fun with that.
In the original, you would have to catch a chocobo of a certain quality from this area, and then you'd have to race him up in Golden Saucer, and then catch a chocobo of this quality from over here, race them up to the high rank in Golden Saucer, breed them, take that chocobo, raise it up to a certain rank, breed it with one of the. It was like I don't even remember how many steps, but it was an insane breeding and
this
racing.
is a mandatory thing.
No, totally optional. And
okay.
It's totally optional. It's basically an end game kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
But the racing has been so much fun. Like, it's the mechanics of drifting and the different power ups, and like each Chocobo has different kind of like abilities and stuff too. That's been cool.
Does the Golden Saucer have the motorcycle game still?
Yes, it does.
I used to love playing that too. You know, I mean, it's like Road Rash meets Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
You know, I love that.
No. I still don't know who this Seth Roth dude is all about. That guy's weird. They're revealing more and more about him, but he's still a weird dude.
I think part of the reason I think I have to play through the game is it seems like it is such a remix of the entire Final Fantasy VII universe, because like the original game, Final Fantasy VII, there's so much that they're adding in there that wasn't in the first one, because then they later released Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, which was like a prequel game that touches on story elements that they barely touch on in Final Fantasy VII. Then they released Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, actually, before Crisis Core was Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, which was an entire game focused around Vincent, and it was like a shooter.
Yeah, that's weird.
And Final Fantasy, I think there was a Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis was another one. There have been, and then there's the movie Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. So it seems like the games are taking lore that they've put in all these places and mixing it into this one game. It
feels that way, yeah.
So because of that, I feel like I need to end up playing it just so I can know what pieces end up where.
They're good games. Like, I can only imagine if I had more background, like appreciating some of the stuff differently. But yeah, the side quests, like, it's been fun just going through and knocking all that stuff out. Some cool character development through the side quests for sure. Definitely optional, but yeah, I will have very. What level are your characters, Robbie? Do you know?
Like high 40s.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like 48, I think.
Is there a level cap 99?
I would expect so. I get the feeling you're not really supposed to be above like level 55 when you finish the game, unless you do like. Well, you said you
level 70 is the cap.
Oh, okay.
I hate weird level caps like that. I miss the good old days of just 99.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be pretty hard to reach level 70.
I think it probably would. Yeah.
Yeah. You could grind a lot, I'm sure, if you wanted.
You could.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I should probably finish this pretty soon because like all the side quests are done. I'm ready to just like get through the rest of it now at this point. And I'm excited to see what that is. Yeah.
Other than that, though, actually, I guess before we go, Robbie, while we talk about Final Fantasy VII, do you want to add anything about abandoning Shin Megami Tensei 5 with me to go back to, and you went back to Persona 4?
Yeah, I think I don't know. the cartridge is still in the system. I was just feeling. I think we talked about this last time. It was just a little bit of a soulless environment, and I didn't feel the same energy towards the gameplay. I mean, like really, like it is the same gameplay in terms of battling as a Persona game, but like a Persona game has like a vibe to it. And a story. I don't know how much like I'm into this like teenager high school storyline, but there's just like the locations and places feel like locations and places. Persona 4 I had started in the summer, and so I'm just kind of like getting back into it and just checking off the days of the calendar and doing my time management and stuff. I am not really enjoying the dungeon crawling in Persona 4. It's significantly weaker, more tedious to me than the other ones that I've played in the series. So I'm playing it actually on easy mode for the dungeon crawling and just enjoying the hang of the game. I mean, it takes place. It doesn't have like a big epic sprawling like we're gonna save the world story. It's more of a like small town murder mystery. So you just are like hanging out at the tofu shop, get a beef bowl, go to work at the hospital on your time off. Just that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Well, like I said, I abandoned it too. Maybe I'll get to a Persona with you at some point. I mean, I tried to play Shin Megami Tensei 5 with you, but I can't. I just couldn't hang it. I guess it might be a weak entry in the series. I don't know. I'm stuck with this melancholy of, do I get rid of the game now? I didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to finish it, but I don't generally get rid of games. The one exception I can think of in the last decade, I gave away Overcooked. I hated that game.
Oh, I love Overcooked.
So, do I keep the game? I'm not going to finish it. Is it worth anything?
I don't know. I mean, you got the nice box. I'm gonna maybe like break it out again later. I'm not like totally sure I'm done with it, but yeah, I just I need something. I need something to not be so heavy. I've got like a lot of other JRPGs that I got for Christmas for the PS5, so I gotta figure out how to balance that with like stuff on the Switch that's maybe a little lighter.
Yeah, that's the other thing you guys both do that it's just I don't do anywhere near like you guys is juggle games. I can't.
I'm excited to play this at some point this year.
You should that one go if you've done 5. That one went really fast for me. Like I kind of crushed it.
Yeah, no, that might be. I'm not sure what I'm playing next after Rebirth, but that's definitely on the short list. I have Stellar Blade waiting in queue as well. I got the Call of Duty game, which would be a quick. I think Call of Duty would be the quick one to play and knock out.
Yeah, if you want to just knock something off your list, sure.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm doing after Rebirth. But yeah. Anything else?
I think that's about a wrap.
Okay, nice solid 2.5 hour episode here. I think our next one will it was a long time, so we had a lot to catch up.
We'll start trimming them down.
Every once, yeah. Cool. Well, Jason, anything you want to plug?
No, you guys. Like I've said, I'm not an online person. Other than the fact, if you ever see somebody named Risen Devil on any kind of game network, that's probably me. Feel free to join me for a game or something.
Cool. What's your Robbie?
Robbie Burns on the social platforms and on the web.
Sounds good. At T Chatton, pretty much everywhere. You can listen to iPad Pros or Vision Pros for my other podcast I do. And that's about it. And we'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks for the March episode, which will hopefully be released in March.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.